Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the OB44 Paladins Patch Preview Show. My name is Rainday, and we are with some gentlemen today. Hi-rez Pretty Hair and hi-rez Dry Bear. He is the he's the trash guy.
I'm the trash
Paladins.
guy. Yeah, that's right.
Cleans up the trash.
I do.
At the end of the day.
Yep.
I saw you there around 8:40 yesterday. You must have been working on something pretty late.
Yeah, I was cleaning on the trash. Well, that's why we actually added ranks, so I had more trash to take out.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, shots fired. There we go. Starting this off strong. We're really excited for today, and this mic's in my mouth. Let me move that a little bit. Really excited for today. I know all of you are just waiting with a bated breath to see what we've got in store for Season 1. I know we're all very excited to share it with you. We've been playing it over the last few weeks, working tirelessly to bring you the best type of product we can, and we're very excited with the end result of it so far. Let's walk you through some of the other things, though. It's not just going to be, you know, kind of the legendaries. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. There's a lot of new additions to Season 1 around just general gameplay and modes, even. And I hear we're going to have a new mode coming back into the realm.
Yep, it's called Capture the Makoa.
Okay.
He actually has no shell.
Sounds like
He's
a PvE
covered
challenge.
in bacon grease, and you have to try and grab his tail.
Okay. Is that as hard as the current one right now? Because I hear people are saying that's impossible to win.
No, it's actually,
What are we doing?
Those poyos? Oh, the leapfrog. Leapfrog is pretty rough.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a really cool one coming next week.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited.
Really cool one.
I'm excited.
Yep.
So starting off with, obviously, Season 1, we will be introducing a brand new game mode. A lot of you who've played Paladins beforehand will remember this one back in the day. It was one of my favorites, and it will be Survival coming back into the realm. For all you Survival fans, really excited about that. Driver, why don't you break us down what this new mode will bring to new players?
Sure. So this is kind of, it was there early pre-production, but for you folks who weren't there, it is a 5-on-5 round-based mode to a best of 5 points total. During a round, you actually, if you die, you are dead. Until the next round. So it's permanent death for the round. It literally is survival. So you enter a match for your friends. You're pitted against the other team. They're smaller maps. They're actually more kind of circular square maps. They don't have kind of like winding paths. It's really built around what is the core, which is the epicenter. So at the epicenter, when the round begins, you'll see deathly fog kind of start out from the outset of the map and then start to close in on the center of the map called the epicenter. And then when it reaches the epicenter, it'll pause for about 60 seconds, giving you a final fight to the death among others. But again, the big part is unlike Siege or Payload, where you're all really trying to get constant aggressive progress, right? You're trying to push the point, get the objective down, push the payload, fight for things. It's kind of the opposite, right? Where you have to band together and be very careful, right? Because again, if you die, you're done for the round. So you have to be very cautious, try to get picks, try to wait for the good fight, get different ultimates or different pieces into there. When you touch the death fog, it will deal percentage of your maximum health in damage, which means that the fog is 100% unbiased. It kills everyone the exact same way. Wow. So if you are shielded, if you have damage reduction, it doesn't matter. It will always hit your maximum health and take it down. So everyone dies a certain amount of speed. So if you step into the death fog, your health will just start going down very rapidly. So you can knock people into the death fog. You can CC them in the death fog. You can jump the death fog and hook them with you if you have more health. You know, that kind of thing. So some cool things around to that. But it's really more about just kind of shifting that and giving a different option for a game mode.
Well, to take a look at that further in depth, we've got the first map that will be introduced for the survival mode. That will be Snowball Junction. Snowfall, excuse me. Snowfall Junction.
That should be a new map.
Snowball Junction.
Snowball Junction.
That sounds fun too.
Yeah.
I'll get credit for that.
There's 2 maps coming out with this mode. We want to make sure there's at least 2 different ones to play on. So this is Snowfall Junction. We don't have Thomas with us here today, but this map and the other map actually are both done for this patch. So both the environment team, the concept team, really kind of brought this one together. Actually, VFX to get a nice snowstorm in there. Programming had to solve some very interesting challenges with this map as well to kind of bring it in. But you can see that center there, that little junction in the middle there, is the center, the epicenter. And you'll spawn on the outside. This actually was, and hopefully, Thomas, if you're out there, I'm this right, but this was more of kind of a river ocean that was frozen. So that's kind of the lore there, I believe. You guys can shoot at him on Twitter, that kind of thing. But it was an ocean that was frozen over, and in the flash freeze, there was some ocean life that got caught in the magic freeze. That's the spawn room right there. So when you spawn, the anglerfish will be kind of staring at you. So there's some cool kind of Easter eggs in here. The environment art team did an awesome job with this one, kind of brought this together. It also has a massive snowstorm on it, so you'll see the snow kind of creating with the fog. It has that kind of spooky, snowy mountaintop feel to it.
It seems like this is a very different style map as well. It brings some warmth to it, brings a lot of different open spaces. We play tested on this one, Nick, and of course we've had a lot of fun experiences with it. Looking at the kind of like the style, is this going to be kind of the same texture for survival maps? Are they going to feel a little different? You mentioned we have 2. Are they going to be different layouts or just kind of different themes in general?
They usually will kind of sit in the themes of the they'll send the themes of kind of some of the existing maps, kind of matching that up a little bit.
Got it.
But they do have different layouts, right? Because they are built to have more places to hide, more places to hide in, and because they are more kind of circular square to be more equidistant from different sides there, it does kind of lend itself into forcing people into the middle of the map rather than having this kind of payload path. You'll have tighter hallways and causeways because there's no need for a payload cart anymore, so have that kind of fit into it.
Great.
Awesome. That looks like a lot of fun. Hyper beam out of the map, that's what I'm looking for.
Hyper beam into the fog.
That's the play.
That's the play.
Absolutely. So this is coming forward for you in OB44, and we do, I'm not sure if we're done with these slides. We have a few more, but I know there is another map. You mentioned the second one. I'm excited.
Wow.
The bushel market.
This is
little vegetation.
I never noticed
kind of similar to the
it's hard when
ice
you're getting
mines
shot by
frozen
Drogoz
guard
for all your
piece there, but they collapse all the vegetation and kind of keep that part together. So this is where they would store all the pieces that are keeping them out of the cold, make sure they don't get frostbitten.
Where is this? Is this that little ramp that gets you up onto the high ground in the middle?
Right in the middle.
Oh my God, I've never noticed that.
Now you know.
Huh.
So I'm saying, man, it's hard to notice these things when you're getting the frostbite and shot for all your health with Drogoz. It's just not. It's not something you're not paying attention to the scenery at that point. So this is it. The Snowfall Junction coming in, the survival mode. We have another map available for you to be able to see, and that will be Primal Court. So for those who are the old survival fans, this should look pretty familiar.
That's right. So we did actually make some edits to this one. I think the old Primal Court had some issues that we solved on the gameplay side and on the art side as well. So we kind of opened up the middle to be more of a survival-based style. We brought down the spawn room so it feels like it's part of the gameplay space, and then we fixed some of the ramp areas from the old one. But yes, this is kind of the tropical-themed survival map. Again, very small map, very kind of personal and intimate, kind of getting into those fights there and forcing the engagements. So there's not a whole lot of places to run and hide here. There's all nooks and crannies, but it really does force those kind of heavy engagements, you know, very intense, permanent death style worry where you have to kind of figure out, you know, is there going to be a Kness on their side or someone going to flank me and take me out? And it just adds another level of eeriness to the engagement.
Yeah, Survival is a very fun. I mean, for me, one of the reasons why I'm excited to see Survival come back is it's a change of pace. You know, obviously Payload and Siege all have their very different feels, but this is very fun, very different. I remember when we had the old maps, actually, before there was this was the new Survival map back then, and we had the old maps where Survival would take place with 3 different spawn points, and I had so much fun. I really, found myself experiencing Paladins in a new way. So I'm hoping that new players who haven't experienced Survival can really find some love and some enjoyment in these types of engagements. They're very fun, they're fast-paced. You get a lot of credits early, so you can test out a lot of new item builds and stuff on champions, which is really cool.
Different team comps, too. Different team comps accelerate here as opposed to what you're traditionally used to in the Siege modes and the Payload modes even. This is really close quarters, so it's very difficult. Drogoz definitely excels in this mode.
You can spot out the epicenter, too, most of these maps. If you see kind of the center area, in this one you'll see that the roof has collapsed down on the epicenter. The epicenter is actually on the bottom floor, and players actually don't have enough room when the fog sets in all the way and it ends on that fight to the death to stand on the outside ring. So you can fight up above and shoot down, but at a certain point you do have to jump down to the epicenter and fight. So there's some kind of interesting fights that go on in there.
I'm coming.
That's right.
Jumping down. If you've never made those plays, I'm excited for you guys. It's fun to drop on down. But, you know, who's going to be up in the air, who's going to be dropping down? There's a certain champion that I think excels in airborne flight and kind of dominating the vertical space. Pip!
That's what it is.
I didn't say who excels at being the best damage champion in the game.
No, he feels weightless.
Oh, he does feel weightless. You're right.
You ever watched the movie Gravity?
It's
nothing like that.
It is nothing like that?
Not at all.
Have you heard the song
not
Gravity?
related in any
Have
way.
you heard the song Gravity?
No, not
Gravity.
at all. No.
Oh, it's nothing like that either.
I don't listen to music.
So we've got a brand new skin coming out, and I know it's been teased all week. And whether you listen to music or not, you should be excited about this one. It is Dread Hunter Drogoz. So, Bugsy, I know you're happy out there, but a lot of the other Drogoz fans will be excited to experience this coming in for sale in OB44. Walk us through this brand new skin.
This one is mean. right? This one is mean. And again, you know, we're missing Thomas today, so we can talk about some of the lore and some of the pieces that kind of bring that into it. But, you know, this is something that we've wanted to get a skin in for Drogoz for a long time. We know he's very popular. This one will actually be head, body, weapon, and voice pack. The voice pack's pretty awesome. It's got that kind of alien, right, like, you know, that kind of like treatment to it. It's really, really cool. And it just brings Drogoz a different light, right? And this one, I think they just knocked it out of the park. And one of the coolest parts of this one, fans might be excited about this one is going to be available for direct purchase. So if you want it, you can get it.
That's great.
But we're also going to be throwing it in the Colossal Chest as well, which means that if you're a longtime fan, you've been keeping up with the Colossal Chest, you'll get it at a pretty steep discount if you have a few items left in the Colossal Chest. So
that's great.
Again, remember, Colossal Chest, huge value. Kind of make sure you're rolling through that. But this one just, it's crazy. And look at the weapon too, because the art team had to solve some interesting challenges around, how do you make rockets organic, right? And so I think a combination of, the weapons team and the character team and the VFX team and the animation team as well, kind of bring that all in. The rigging team had to solve some challenges on how to make that fit in there. But it does have kind of some eggs rolling into it. It does fire actual organic eggs. The Spitfire, the fire spit turns into acid. So there's like all these kind of like alien-esque treatment that's just really, really cool.
Nice. Man, this is pretty exciting here. We have a preview of the voice pack, so let's take a listen to Dread Hunter.
Need healing? You can live. Sorry. Wait. Help right flank. Defend right flank. Next time. Defend right flank.
He just wants that right flank. He wants it so bad.
I love
It's all going down on the right flank, guys.
It's like, it's the right flank. This damn
right. You know what this reminds me of?
To the right, actually.
You guys ever played Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah.
The octopus boss in Diddy Kong Racing. That's what that voice spec kind of reminds me of.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Yeah, man. I'm waiting for Sigourney Weaver to pop
And here's
out.
the beauty of Paladins, right? Twofold. One, you can put this mean hunting destruction monster of doom and death onto a unicorn if you want.
You could.
And this is fully customizable, so if we could just kind of take the body off real quick. He does kind of have the other pieces too. See, what's really awesome is they glossed over his normal eyes.
It's like the Victor
on the
skins.
default, so he looks like he's just a possessed Drogoz.
Wow.
And you can kind of mix and match ones in there and kind of mix it up. Personally, for me, I just put it all on. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
This is coming into the realm of Nobi 44.
Yeah, give us the body and the normal head.
Through the Colossal Chest as well.
Get the horns. Black horns.
Black.
And
I
you
actually
can
like
pick
that.
it up separately.
Black horns with the regular body.
I actually like that a lot.
It's pretty wicked.
It's going to be a treat. Of course, I think this is going to be a hot item. You're going to see a lot of players playing Drogoz lately. Maybe not just for this reason.
Maybe. Well, there might be other reasons
There might
coming
be other
up.
reasons.
But it does. This one also, because it is epic, comes with a whole update to the visual effects suite.
Yeah.
So all the stuff kind of, again, turns to green fire, acid, kind of more organic. So it's just the whole suite of Drogoz is updated with this one.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about it?
I love it, especially the Dragon Punch.
What's anything different around the Dragon Punch? I didn't notice that.
It's just voice. It sounds cooler.
Behold.
I like the new voice a lot better than the old the Drogoz voice.
Yeah.
Theory is in the eye of the beholder, you could say.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, he's definitely got the eye for damage. You'll see later in some of the new updates to Season 1 that a lot of champions are getting some crazy cool updates as well, not just visually. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we do have a couple other things before we get into some of the Season 1 changes that I'm sure you all are looking at. This is really something I've wanted for a long time and really cared about the community. I'm just kidding.
Shut your mouth! You shut your mouth, Evan!
All right, guys, what's
let
happening?
him have this.
What's happening?
This one, and I realize this may not matter to any people, but for me, it's near and dear to my dry, ever so dehydrated heart. We're bringing in the option to update your crosshair reticle through the suite of what we have in the game. So there's, you can get the precise, cross, you can get a dot, you can get the kind of shotgun treatment with the circle, kind of the pieces there.
He did it.
And I gotta kind of give shout outs to our lead programmer and programming team for sneaking this one in. This one was not planned for the patch,
right?
But Driver just wouldn't shut up about it until we finally did it. So late one night, deep into the morning, coffee filtered, our lead programmer threw this one in there. I will say that this one is not the final implementation. We plan to eventually make this kind of of per character basis, have champion-specific upgrades and stats in the settings menu. But for now, just so for the folks out there that are very finicky with their crosshair and make sure the reticle is exactly what you need to hit the the color and mixture, this one will be a global override.
Yeah.
So as soon as you change this, it will change it for all the champions. You will have to update it per champion. But at the very least, it's in the game. And if you want to update your reticle, you can. This is kind of a small thing for some people, but it's huge for me. And I think a lot of the competitive players out there will really enjoy the fact that you can update your reticle per character. Because personally, I need the dot.
Dot squad unite.
I need the dot. I'm a dot man.
Hashtag dot squad unite in the chat for sure.
Yeah, I think this is it's something that maybe skips over the casual players' mind, but I think it's very important. You see a lot of, I think the reaction for this is very positive. So I'm glad that finally got in. I remember you being there and saying it's going to be tough. It's a lot to go around. I don't know. And of course,
I remember you arguing with the lead programmer. How tough is it to make a dot? Please give me a dot. I just want a dot. That's all I want.
And he always looks back at me and says, "Do you want a season patch?" I'm like,
dot
or a dot? But the dot, man, the dot.
You got through it. Sometimes,
we have an awesome team.
We do. They've been doing a great job, and they did a great job on what you all are about to see. Are you not waiting? Are you done seeing all this malarkey? I'm just kidding. That was amazing stuff, but it is time. Are you ready to get to the meat of this?
Let's do it.
It's season 1, guys.
Yay!
Grab your other Snapple.
The overview.
Grab your second Snapple.
Listen,
wait.
He's got 2 Snapples.
Get comfortable, guys.
I've got just
I gotta finish the first one.
I got 2 drinks. I'm ready.
Pinky out.
Pinky out.
I don't have a drink. I'm just gonna. This is.
You didn't even do the pinky on your fake drink.
I tried.
This is the salty chat
number
tears.
2 now.
Salty chat tears right here.
That's right.
So season 1 is coming out. I would love to obviously just recollect everyone's mind as to what season 1 is about. Obviously, at the start of each year, hi-rez likes to implement brand new adjustments to some of their familiar fan favorite games. You saw it if you play Smite. And now you're seeing it with Paladin. Season 1 is basically some adjustments to alter the gameplay in a way that we feel enhances and more accurately allows you to delve deeper into Paladins as an experience. And with that, the adjustments that we've been working on, and especially the design team with Dry Bear has been working on, are finally complete, and we're excited to give them to you. Dry Bear, I kind of want to leave this to you now because I feel like we're going to go over every change that's gone over in the champions. Is there anything you want to preface all of this with and just kind of lay the foundation for before we get into the nitty-gritty?
Yeah, so I think hopefully over the last few patches, if you're kind of a new player with us, you haven't played other games or kind of known what the hi-rez way is, right? We're a company that is all about you guys, right, about the users. And so a lot of times, if you guys bring up an issue to us, we will try our best to make sure we solve it. And we're really here to make sure that at the end of the day, you guys are having fun, right? I want to make sure that you're playing the game having fun. And so we're trying to always make improvements and kind of get that engagement there. When we first started Paladins, we iterated tons on card systems and customization options and items and counters and all that stuff. And initially, through the pre-production process, the people that are playing beta really kind of came forward and said, it's a shooter. We want it to be tight. We want it to be clean. We want it to be competitive.
Yep.
But over time, the feedback through the open beta has been, we want that, but we also want to have really interesting customization options. We want to make sure that the cards are very meaningful and impactful. We want to be able to kind of mold our own style. It's what Paladins is. Let's embrace that. And so that's what we're doing here. We did actually do several rounds of updates and ideas, talking with the community on what we would like to do and how to solve those problems. And then you guys kind of gave feedback on some of our earlier systems, which we kind of adjusted or threw out based on feedback that we got before we even kind of continued work on it. We're also in season 1 trying to solve some of the complaints and feedback pieces that we've got from the community around Radiant chests not feeling as exciting when you open them, not being able to buy them for gold and being able to have spend your gold on something meaningful, and being able to kind of upgrade through mastery and kind of get that personal experience in there. So with this, I came up with a system where we feel really kind of hits both those notes, allows you to go deeper into the characters, but also allows Radiant Chest to be a big part of that, and also be able to kind of get your gold out on a pedestal and be able to use that there. So this is season 1.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Season 1. Basically, what we will be doing is going through kind of the first system that I think has been introduced, and if you are familiar with that, it's the legendary system. There's been another name for it, talents, so don't get that confused. They are legendary cards, and what they will do is give you significant opportunities to enhance your playstyle.
That's right.
And change the way that you want to go into battle even further beyond the actual loadouts that you pick before the match and the items that you pick during the game. These legendaries will be free to champion. So essentially, each champion will have 3 options to select, and we'll be going through what each champion has been given at the start of this. And a big high, I think, kind of awareness of PTS. We want you to get in there and want you to try all these out.
Yeah.
Want you to give us your feedback. Only so much that, you know, how many 20 people in a room can really gather. We need the community to sit behind this one. So please do it. And we're excited to see that. Moving into just any other systems, there is Dust. So do we want to talk about how...
There's Essence.
Sorry.
The essence
do we want to talk about how they
Paladins.
get that now, or do we want to say that for later?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we do a very quick kind of overview before we kind of hop into the client and hopefully have some things to kind of view and look at there. So I think initially it'd be good to kind of walk through those systems and look at the views there. So the high level is we have initially Radiant Chests will now be purchasable with gold.
Okay.
So 3,000 gold.
That's a big change.
You buy a Radiant Chest. So 3,000 gold's pretty quick, right? You can kind of dig that up and buy a Radiant Chest.
Wow.
Radiant Chests, because of this, will no longer drop gold. So when you get a duplicate out of it or kind of get some random gold, that's all gone. It will now drop a new type of currency called Essence. Essence is currency that will be spent on cards, whether it is loadout cards or legendary cards. So you kind of collect Radiant gold, buy Radiant Chests, drop Radiant Chests from leveling up, and then you collect Essence and spend that Essence to unlock legendary cards or loadout cards. With this, we're also going to be applying rarities to each of the loadout cards, common, rare, and epic, and then the penultimate final, cherry on top there is the legendary cards. Every champion in OB44 for Season 1 launch will have 3 legendary cards to choose from. We're going to be giving you 1 for free as a starter legendary. So every champion will come with
that's good to know.
5 loadout cards as a starter deck, and then you'll have a single legendary for free as a starter legendary. You'll have 2 others you'll have to purchase with unlock with Essence to be able to get that. Now, these legendary cards are built to be very impactful, very strong, very meaty, sometimes doubling your damage and giving you different ways to play and kind of focusing your playstyle in a different direction, but also working in tandem with the items and the loadouts to really kind of allow you all the tools you need to make what is the best option for that match, or maybe a playstyle for a character that you may have not thought before, or create something new, right? So that's kind of the big piece there, and we're hoping that as PTS comes out, you guys get feedback on all those.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm excited. Let's get into it. The first one that we have up is actually a mystery to me. I'm not sure who we first have up in game, but we do want to show you that. So we're not gonna show these in game. All right.
Okay.
I was under a different impression earlier, but that means we will at least talk about them and make sure that you all get to know exactly what's going on. So let's just start with A, and let's just go through that. Starting off with, actually, each champion will go through, if they're receiving any balance as well, because Nick and I usually we do balance, we corner off. We'll talk about any balance adjustments as well as, of course, the legendaries that they'll be adding. So Androxus, starting off with that, Defiance, they will be increasing the accuracy from 75% to 82%.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of been for a long time. Not really something that I know I was preaching, don't ever right-click. It's not really worth it. It's just too random. So making that tighter, making that spread a little bit more reliable, it's going to make it part of his kit again. You know, it's so cool. It's a really cool animation. It's something, it's style points at the end of your kill. It's definitely something, and there's a lot of loadout cards around it as well, so you can, make that a viable part of your playstyle in Androxus once again.
Some of these changes too, in the introduction of the legendary cards, some of these, like with the Drogoz Defiance, were really built to be, part of just making that ability better.
Yeah.
But in some cases, characters may be kind of losing a part of their kit that goes up to legendary, but we're buffing it from that standpoint, or kind of getting some pieces reworked in there that kind of helps the character get some buffs in there to kind of fix things up as legendaries come online.
Exactly. So the cards, a couple of reworked cards as well. We won't spend too much time on this. Elusive, actually, Patience has been renamed to Elusive. Gain 10, 20, 30, 40% movement speed for 2 seconds after using Nether Step. Pretty self-explanatory there. But his legendary cards. Let's talk about the first one. Heads will roll. This will be the default option that you're able to get. Heads will roll. Deal 50% more headshot damage.
Yeah, so you'll see all 3 on screen here. And remember that these there's going to be basically one that comes as a starter, right? It'll come with the character, you unlock that there, and then you'll have that there, and then from there you'll be able to unlock the other two. So Hedgehog Roll is one for Drogoz. So basically, with this legendary card equipped, you will be able to deal 50% increased headshot damage, which stacks on top of the default 50%, which means that if you get a headshot as Drogoz, you will be doing full damage.
1,200 damage.
Yes, you will be doing a direct
Yikes.
double damage off
One
the
shot.
base. Yep. And so if you hit that headshot, it really hits into it. And again, these are all meant to be either alter different categories or create different playstyles. So that's kind of like the direct, I'm a revolver, I'm hitting you in the head kind of treatment. The one on the left there is Godslayer. So Godslayer will have the ability to beef up reversal if you're trying to play that playstyle. So reversal will now always fire back. For those of you who don't know, don't play in Drogoz, if you don't take damage on the reversal, he doesn't fire anything back. He didn't collect enough damage to do it. So with this legendary, it will always fire back and starts at a base of 800 damage instead of 0, which means that even if you walk out of a reversal at a dark hallway by yourself, you will still fire something and it will do 800 damage. And then if you took damage during a reversal, it will scale it even higher.
And Nick, this is huge for a lot of pro players who run, similar cards that can allow them to really take advantage of this.
Yeah, Power of the Abyss, very popular card on Drogoz right now. Basically what that does is after your dash is on cooldown, if you land your reversal damage on a target, on a shield, on a deployable, on another player, it will reset the cooldown of your dash. So it's very impactful. And a lot of times when you get caught out with that card, when you try to catch something but you just don't get any damage, everybody reads your reversal perfectly and doesn't shoot it, then you're kind of caught out of position. This counters that. Now you will always be, the burden is always on you now to land your reversal, and you can always get that dash reset.
And then Darkstalker, did we mention that's going to be...
This one's interesting.
This is going to be fun.
On paper, this one doesn't, I think doesn't have the same punch that others, but actually provides really interesting benefits. So normally, Nether Step, has like 10, 12 second cooldown, right? When you activate Nether Step, there's a timer that runs. It's not on cooldown yet, where you can dash a second time or a third time, and then it goes on cooldown. Instead, this legendary reworks Nether Step to be on a 3-charge system, and then the cooldown now becomes a third of what the total is. So you have about 4-second cooldown per Nether Step, and that's always running on a charge system. So you basically have this arsenal of Nether Steps at your disposal. There's not going to be a long period where you don't have it, and you can actually cycle it. So this works with loadout cards like when you dash, you get health, when you dash, you get ammo. And so now it's like right there in your hands, ready to use. You can dash, 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 or you can dash, wait, dash, wait another 5 seconds, dash again, or run cooldown and kind of cycle that. So it really opens up a mobile playstyle for
you can stay in the air basically forever with this card. You can actually just float around nonstop, and your charges are going to be cooling down as you're floating around. So I was playing with this in the training range. You're actually just floating around. This works with cards like Sleight of Hand that give you ammo when you dash. It does have still the 5-second internal cooldown, but like I said, you'll be able to just stay in the air forever and just leverage that card multiple times. It's a lot of fun to play around with.
And one thing to stress here too, you can only... So we didn't really cover this, but selecting legendaries, when you load into a match, the legendary card is selected with your loadout. So you'll pop up, you'll select your legendary card, then you'll select your loadout, and those will be locked in for the game. You can only have one equipped, so you have to choose. And so inherently, a lot of these feel very powerful and they're intended to, but you have to pick one, right? So there's built-in opportunity cost there. So to get the crazy mobility, ammo recharge, healing back on the Nether Step, you're giving up the powerful reversal or the powerful headshot damage. You can't have them all. And so that's why they're all very strong, because they can't coexist in the same system. So you're defining your build and saying, I now value the movement or the utility to move around and survive more than the headshot damage.
And I just heard we're actually able to go into game to be able to see this headshot damage and see the impact of this. And so
this is the Nether Step charge.
This is the
you can see down there on the F. So it has that charge.
So yeah, let's take a look at this then.
So you see it on the F. There's a number of the charge there. So they go cooldown. You see that very short cooldown. And so he'll be able to stack up charges, kind of build that in there, and he'll be able to dash around. But remember, the charge, if you have less than 3, the charge cooldown is always running.
Yeah, buddy.
And so it's always going, always getting more charges on there. So there's 2. And there's the 3rd charge. You can dash again. You can dash 3 times if you want. It goes on cooldown. Another one comes back. But this basically means that dash is a huge part of your playstyle. It's no longer, I dash to get in, I have to wait a long time. It's a big part. And so this kind of lends into the dogfighter, where you can go up in the air, shoot, go up in the air, shoot, jump around. But you lost the headshot damage, you lost the reversal, which is really interesting.
Really, really interesting decisions you're going to have to make. I think that's the theme, and I think people who are jumping into this first now, I don't know what the reaction is, but I think you have to understand that this happens for every single champion. So some may be saying, what is this new world that Androxus just entered in? This is where all the champions just went. So be ready. We told you, get excited. It's happening for every single one. So without further ado, we've talked about Androxus, a lot of great ones. Head will roll. The headshot will be the free one. And the other ones you'll be able to earn. We have upcoming Big Daddy, the stay-at-home
Little daddy.
dad, Barrick. Barrick is going to see a couple balance things. So while we get things set up, the balance for Barrick, his blunderbuss is actually not going to provide bonus damage to targets marked by your turrets. It's actually going to reduce the fall off from 80 to 85, so that's a benefit. And then it's going to reduce the minimum damage at maximum fall off range from 10 to 50%. So walk me through that one, Nick.
So just making the Barrick weapon a little bit more reliable. And you see that bonus damage, you might think it's a nerf, but this is going to be kind of a common theme throughout the patch notes, just kind of sweeping the bonus damage off a lot of people's kits, and those kind of became a lot of legendaries. So you still will be able to have that choice and go into that as a Barrick player, but we just wanted to make that a very impactful choice, part of a legendary card now.
And the 10 to 50% actually I found to be very exciting as a Barrick player. I don't play a lot of Barrick, but
you don't
being
hit for
able to
16 or 22 anymore.
Exactly, you don't hit for 22 anymore. You're hitting for 200. You're hitting for that even from a little farther away. It's very, very fun. So we have the opportunity, another man's treasure is renamed to one man's treasure. That was really important.
No one cares about that. No one cares about
so
that.
legendary cards, it's coming in. Let's take a look at Barrick's. He's going to have Architectronics, Tinkerin, and Barricade. So we, I guess we're just going to talk about that. Not going to bring that up on screen. We're going to Architectronics, improve the potency of turrets.
Yeah,
what
so
is that?
The theme here for Barrick is kind of trying to choose a direction for his build, right? The ones that are going to start out with, and you know, we are kind of starting with 3 legendaries per character. There's room to grow to 4 or 5 in the future, you know, in maybe a mid-season update or something like that along the way. Give more options to vary there, depending on the feedback. But the idea here is that Barrick can go into kind of a turret build, a weapon build, or he can go into barricade build. Right? And so building into that, you'll see a theme where, you know, the description is enhanced, right? It's enhanced turrets. His other option is enhance the blunderbuss. And the third option is add 4,000 health to the barricade, right? So it just becomes this massive monster of a shield that's really difficult to take down. And we decided to go with the wording enhance because it actually changes a lot of values on the turrets. But the big ones there for Architectronics is the turrets now are instant fire.
Oh.
They're hit scan.
Oh, wow.
So the baseline Barrick turrets fire a projectile, which really good players at medium and long range will never get hit by, right?
Yeah.
Personally, for me, if I see a Barrick turret, you just wait, let turret flyer and sidestep, projectile miss you, and you're kind of avoiding it. At close range, he will get some damage on it, and you kind of have to deal with the turret that way, but at medium range, you never really get hit. This is now going to be a instant hit. If the turret sees you, it'll hit you. They get a tiny bit more health, just a little bit, like 100 or 200 more, just a little bit to kind of keep them boosted up there, and then kind of a little bit more damage. Just basically kind of across the board, just a little bit better. But the
better
hit scans,
turrets and hit scan.
Hit scan's a big thing,
right?
for
so
sure.
Then again, you're not getting the blunderbuss talent. Your weapon's not going to be too much better. The changes we made there weren't really super huge. And then the barricade means that you're just going to have the default barricade. But Barrick is kind of he's a very, artisan master of a lot of traits kind of thing. And so by choosing one of those to kind of enhance or master really helps. So you go with the turret ones, with the blunderbuss one, which you've been playing a lot. Kind of enjoying it. It enhances it, which means it kind of raises the accuracy, it raises the damage, it reduces the fall off, so he has consistent damage in there. So he basically becomes this angry dwarf.
It's like he went
running
back,
around.
He went back into his workshop and just said, let me add a couple little bit. Let me boost this up. And he just made it happen. I mean, that is fun. I started playing Barrick again after this. I've had a lot of fun with him. So I think these are going to be some great talents for him moving forward. So that's going to be doing it for Barrick. Next up, Buck. He's going to get 3 talents himself. Net shot, speed loader. These are some adjustments happening. So this is actually important to note before we get into this. Net shot is going to be losing its bonus damage on base.
Yep. Like I said, the big sweeping change. Basically, almost everyone that had some sort of combo damage that's more than likely being moved to a legendary. Is the idea here. All right. So the net shot is going to be one of those. So
same theme, and then that actually gives a great segue to his first legendary card called Ensnare, and that will mean that he gets 40% bonus damage for 3 seconds after hitting a target with his net shot.
Yep, just kind of like the old combo. But it's strong. All of them, I should take the caveat, they're all stronger now.
Yes.
All the combos have been removed and put on legendaries, but they are now stronger.
Right, so if you're going to go with that, you're still going to be playing the same Buck, but he's going to be a little
Better.
beefier.
He's
going to hit
gonna hit
a little
harder.
better. So that's exciting. Now this one's really fun for us. Bounce House
This is
heroically
the best one.
now
I
has
love this one.
2 charges. So similar
Yeah.
to Advance on Ruckus, like the Nether Step, kind of like the Nether Step dashes you just saw.
Well, yeah.
It now has charges on it. So
Best name for a legendary, Bounce House.
Bounce
That's
House.
And best experience. And so if you, and again, anytime there's a charge addition or a cooldown reduction from a legendary, that actually will become the new base, which means that any cooldown reduction is now applied to that new base.
Wow.
And so you can run high cooldown reduction, Bounce House,
Big
Buck,
Chronos time.
and you literally are a frog. You're just bounce, land, wait a few seconds, bounce,
Think the
land, wait a few
PvE mode.
seconds.
It's like that.
And again, with the built-in there, with the actually bonus damage after net shot coming out of his base kit, becoming a
Right.
legendary, you are then choosing to give up that bonus damage to just be flying around like a frog, right? So there's some really awesome kind of trade-offs there and some opportunity cost built in, but also that lends itself more into the loadout you choose and the items you choose, because do you run Chronos instead of Cod Rise early?
Yeah.
Do you build your loadout in a different way because you're being more mobile? Maybe
Right.
you're sacrificing damage and so you want to be more harassing, but bringing that out of the kit and balancing it out with opportunity costs allows us to do more awesome things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a really fun one. And the other one, Bulk Up, that's actually going to help his recovery. So now he's going to heal for 600 more health instantly.
Burst. Right off the bat. So you press Q, 600 health,
Wow.
and then recovery will come through.
That's a lot. That's going to help duels as well. I mean, there's a lot of interesting decisions to make. Do I take the extra damage? Do I basically take the 600 extra damage, which that 40% kind of turns out to be when you're firing onto somebody, or do I take the mobility? Do I take the health? There's a lot of really cool decisions that's going to be made with Buck, and his legendaries are an absolute blast to play. So check that one out when you get into PTS. Now, following up, it's the King of the Realm. Or maybe not the realm, maybe where he comes from. We don't know that yet. Bomb King. Before we get into legendaries, Detonate no longer grants bonus damage for hitting the same target with multiple detonate sticky bombs.
Yep.
Same thing that we talked about there. Grumpy Bomb no longer deals bonus damage to shields.
Yep.
So same exact thing that we're moving there. A couple of card reworks. We're not going to spend too much time on those. You can definitely follow along in the patch notes when they're released this morning to this evening to watch and check those out. But let's get into the cards. Chain Reaction is his first. This is where the actual damage stacks for Bomb King now. So 30% per bomb after you land the first one will be exploded onto a target. That hurts.
Just like his old combo damage, just
And
stronger.
again, it is the base kind of combo he had, so he can now opt into that and get bonus damage.
Okay.
But again, by him losing that, and now frees him up to get some really cool other benefits because he gave something up.
So this is a fun one. I was really excited about this. I know a lot of Bomb King fans will be. Accelerant.
Coming back.
Increase the self-knockback of Poppy Bomb by 60%. You're high flying, baby.
He turns into a kite.
He sure does.
He's got, again, so he gave up that combo, right?
Yes.
It's really important. I'm going to stress this a lot. It's going to get a little repetitive, but remember, he loses the ability to 2 or 3 hit burst you because the combo's gone.
Yeah.
And now he can just pop that Poppy Bomb, get Jolt, get Air Blast, get Accelerant, and just boing, and he can really just get over. He can go from one side of the point to the other and get that distance. It existed before, but it was difficult to justify because when he landed, he would go 1-2 punch, get the combo burst damage, right?
Yeah.
But when that goes away a little bit, now it's okay that he does that because it's got the opportunity cost built in.
And then his last one, Demolition. Grumpy Bomb destroys all shields when it explodes. So, Nick, I mean,
That's it.
even Torvald shield?
Even Torvald shield, even Dome shield, 20,000
Personal
HP.
shields, deployed
Gonzo.
shields. If there is a shield that is around on someone or deployed when Grumpy Bomb goes off, it's gone.
Wow. Later.
And so, again, Barracks, we were testing this the other night. Barracks Dome Shield has 20,000 health.
Yeah.
And so if he throws the Grumpy Bomb right as Barracks coming in and pops the Dome Shield up, the Grumpy Bomb will erase it.
That's the real counter right there. Wow.
But he's not as mobile.
He's not.
And he lost damage.
That's right.
To be a good counter to shields.
That's right. And those are meaningful decisions that he's going to have to make
Choices.
in the game. Choices, baby. Which one do
They were
I
holding
do?
a Grumpy Bomb for a second. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to everybody's favorite hunter's daughter. That was a lot of possessives there. Cassie, she is going to actually be losing her dodge roll bonus damage. So for your next shot after dodge rolling, you will no longer be having your bonus damage. Disengage will also no longer give you bonus damage, but
Gone.
do not fear.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
It was definitely worth it. Exaction, the number one. This is her basically back to old Cassie if you want to kind of play that same style. Deal 40% bonus damage on your
buff.
next shot after dodge roll. So instead of 30, it's up to 40.
Yep.
Good stuff for Cassie mains
Still
right
works
there.
with incitement, still works
She's
with
gonna
onslaught
need
and lunge. Just it's even better than it was before.
Big game. This is a really interesting one. This one is fun, and I think a lot of people are going to start trying to experiment with this. Your first shot against an aerial target hit by disengage will deal bonus damage equal to 30% of their maximum health. I mean, so that's like over 2,000 health on the Fernando.
So if you remember, you don't have the dodge roll bonus anymore, but if you roll in and knock back like a Mako or Fernando, you can hit from anywhere between 2,000 to 2,400 in a single disengage hit. But again, when they hit the ground, it's one shot, right? You have to wait for disengage to come back off cooldown and do it again. It's a very difficult thing to hit, right? Because if you hit a Fernando and they charge out of the way or whatever, you have to be very skilled to do it. But now there's this really big punch. We call it big game because you're hunting big game because it's built against tanky teams that have large health pools, a lot of front lines. So if you find, that Makoa, and it works on Makoa's ult too. So if he pops it up, you can't CC him, but if you can hit there, it falls down. But if you hit a big healthy target, big chunk of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You built some disengage decks.
I did, because it's an extremely high payoff. If you land the full combo caster, you're probably going to one-shot somebody. But disengage is on a 12-second cooldown, and if you miss it, then you're nothing. You got no bonus damage. You got nothing to leverage for the next 12 seconds. So it's a very high risk, but a very high reward to build that way.
It feels so good to one-shot like a Fernando who feels like, oh, I'm at half HP. Like I got this. I can stay on this point.
And the important thing to note too is the dodge roll is just bonus damage, which is good against kind of squishies and flanks and damage fights. But because this is percent match at max HP, it actually does far less on like an Eevee or a Sky or something like that, right? So it's really built to be taking out tanky targets. So if you're, you hop in the match and your legendaries pop up, you're like, okay, I know my loadout. What legendary should I get? You look at the enemy team, it's all squishies. You're not going to run big game because it's going to be a lot less effective. But if for whatever reason, they decide to run Makoa, Fernando, Barrick, and Torvald, you're like, hey, Grumpy Bomb. Hey, Bomb King, you want to team up for a second? Throw that Grumpy Bomb down, it'll pop up right in the air, or we're good to go, right? So more into customization and countering.
Her last one is called Impulse, and this is just a flat increase of the damage of Blast Shot, but it's by 300. And I think we've all played this one. It packs a big punch. It's really valuable.
It's a 750 instant AoE explosion for Blast Shot, so you can, hit Blast Shot and get some really big bursts, or just take out groups of enemies, right? So you have one for direct damage, one for big target health HP damage, and one for AoE damage. And the choice is pretty interesting.
Yep. So moving on to our guy who just got the Dragon, who just got the best skin in the realm. He's on fire, and these talents I think will make him even more on fire. Drogoz getting hooked up here. We're gonna go into his actually first adjustment in the balance side before we get into the legendaries. Drogoz is seeing a bit of a nerf in the damage of his rocket launcher. He is seeing a reduction from 950 to 850.
Yeah.
And thrust is no longer granting bonus damage after thrust.
Yep, so kind of the same thing here. And he's hitting really hard, but bear with us. He's getting some legendaries that are going to help him out in all of those departments. So everything that we take away, we're kind of giving it back to you in our own way, and a lot of times a little bit stronger than you had before. But now you just have to make that choice. You have to give something up to get that. So let's take a look at his legendaries and see what ends up happening. First legendary. For those who were so sad that Speed Drogoz was gone, fear not. He is back and in business. Worm Jets, the legendary, will allow you to increase the flight speed of booster by 65%. And that's not...
Jet plane Drogoz is back.
Zoom.
He is fast.
And it was faster, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just say that. Let's just go there.
He is fast.
He's still very fast. It's a lot of fun. He can just traverse the map. He can bunny high. He can do a lot of great things.
No longer has the thrust bonus damage.
There you go.
Now he flies faster.
Very, very fast. Combustible. Actually, I think we're gonna be able to show that in game to you all in just a moment. Let's take a look when we can. This is Worm Jets. This is gonna be his legendary card. You can see the speed difference. Here is Worm Jets.
Look at him go. Look at him just flying around. This is basically, we fixed a bug back in the day that would kind of allow for something similar to this, but this was him keeping his downward momentum to get to even crazier speeds. Now he's got good base speed to just bunny hop around on, but now he won't be able to do that. Kind of like old school, where he was keeping that downward momentum, almost kind of skiing around the map tribe style, where it was just a little bit out of control. Now it's so much more fun though, and the reason we have to take some damage off his base rockets, Evan, is just because he's so fast. He can get in your face, kill you because he still hits so hard. It's like being that he can get up in your face, anyone's face, coming across the map at you and just directing you rocket time after time again.
Yeah.
He's got to lose something, right?
He's got to. But this is so fun. And I think a lot of people, and we all looked at ourselves in the playtest room, is like, would you actually lose some damage to be able to do this? And I think a lot of us said yes, absolutely, because this is so much fun as an experience, but also there's still a lot of value in being able to have mobility.
That
it's still very good.
That right there, just the holding the spacebar and being able to traverse certain gaps now is just so valuable without needing thrust cooldowns.
Right.
It's so good.
It's big.
So the next one, this is a really interesting one. Fire Spit's been a staple for Drogoz for a long time. Combustible, his legendary, will allow you to have Fire Spit now knocks back. So thing we didn't mention, Fire Spit, actually the knockback on that was taken off, correct?
The huge knockback is going
Huge
to have a little
knockback.
bit of a bump there, but
it was
it's not the
basically
big
gone.
team-wide knockback anymore.
Got it. So that was one of the base things that changed. Now this will have that big knockback, and it will deal an additional 30% of its damage to targets hit over 2 seconds.
So it'll have the big knockback, and then it'll light them on fire, and they'll burn for 300 damage. So it increases Fire Spit's damage to 1,300 or so.
Yeah.
And then you can still recycle that with Masterful and that kind of thing. It has a huge team-wide knockback. So you give up the booster speed, you give up the damage, but then you have the opportunity to really have a huge impact on team fight. Because again, if you hit everyone on the point for 1,300 damage, and they're burning alive and all that, and you knock them off the point, and you can cycle that with Masterful, that in and of itself is just team-wide utility.
Absolutely.
But you're slow.
But you're slow.
And now you have to
don't
make
have the
that
speed.
choice.
God, so many choices.
And then here's one that's
going to be the tough one because no one wants to give that speed up. It feels so good just to fly around the map like that, but some of those talents are dangerous.
And your Fire Spit's still going to hit for 1,000 if you don't take it. I mean, you know, but it may not kill, right? I mean, that 1,300 over twice if you have the Masterful reset, that's 600 extra damage on everybody.
Kill or dispersion
off the map. If you're picking a lot of hazard zone on some maps, very, very important. And then Fusillade. Direct shots deal 50% more damage.
Boom.
Now, one thing to mention here, too, is base damage on the rockets is going down. So its base damage in the previous patch was 950 for rockets. It's going down to 850, which is a sizable decrease. And that's really just so that when you're running Fire Spit Drogoz or you're running Booster Drogoz, right, you aren't as dangerous as you were before. Drogoz was actually performing really highly in competitive and in casual as well. So bring his base down. But if you say, you know what, I don't want to be a jet plane. I don't want to spit on people. I just want to find someone and murder them, and now you can. So if you hit them directly, you actually do 50% more damage. You're up in like 1,200, 1,300 damage on a single shot, and that's you can land on them and just start hitting them with rockets.
Yeah.
And actually,
what else can you do?
It doesn't last very long. There's only about two you can take before you're dead.
If you don't want to spit on people, you can just hit them with rockets. I tested the build last night, which is a little cheeky. I ran lung capacity 4, which increases the Fire Spit projectile speed by 200%, and so I had this super fast Fire Spit. So those of you don't know because you don't detonate it as much. If you hit someone directly with Fire Spit, it coats them in your spit, and they actually take 20% more damage from you on top of that. So you run Fusillade and then lung capacity. You just spit on a Makoa, and you just walk up and you just start hitting it with rockets for like 1,600, 1,700, and you're just die, turtle, die.
Well. But that's the best part about these legendaries because lung capacity over level 1 or maybe 2 was never picked up or like even viable.
Never possible, right?
But now it is. Now you can do that. You can just spit on people and start punching them in the face for 1,800 damage with the Fusillade legendary.
And I mean, you're gonna say, well, what if I, facing off into Drogoz? I mean, if you look at it in a vacuum, a speed Drogoz, he's gonna be able to avoid half of those direct shots so much easier than you can. So. Is that 50% damage bonus going to make the difference? Skill's still going to come down to a lot of this to really determine who uses the choices they've made in the most efficient way.
And now you have the choice, right? And a lot of times in that exact scenario, maybe it is Drogoz versus Drogoz, but you're saying, okay, the enemy Drogoz, I'm not worried about him, right? I'm not trying to fight him.
Exactly.
Maybe they are running tanks, or maybe they're running a character like Skye that's a little easier to hit, right, when she's up on top of me. I'm going to go Fusillade instead because that's what I'm focusing on. It allows you to specify and guide your playstyle in different ways by giving things up and doing trade-offs.
Well, that's really exciting for those Drogoz fans. I'm sure Bugsy's going to be disappointed, especially after him and D69's experience this weekend. They are probably looking out of it now. I don't know. Evie, though, let's talk about her. she's been a lady that's been having a lot of fun lately. She's been fan favorite, been doing pretty well. It's really because of that slow on her ice block, though. No, I'm kidding. But that's no longer going to provide bonus damage. It's no longer going to slow.
Yep.
So that's just something to know. But her legendaries are a lot of fun, too. Let's talk about those. Reprieve will be the one that that she actually starts out with.
That's the default.
And for those who didn't know, I will go back as soon as I have a second to think about it. But just for Drogoz, the knockback one is actually the one you will be getting to start. We're going to be going in game for Eevee as well. This is Reprieve. You will be able to heal 600 health per second during ice blocks. So let's take a look. He's going to take some damage here. And when you run a Reprieve,
so you're damage immune.
See you later,
and you're
buddy.
generating 600 health a second.
Yeah.
While in the ice block. So again, you know, we did take Wormhole out of the loadout sections. That is one of the legendaries. So she'll have one for that, one for Soar. But so basically, you're giving up the ability to blink and blink back and have more ability to get tankier and get more involved, right? So if you really want to, you can jump in the battle and be more engaged there. It's almost like a full health reset if it works properly, right? So there's definitely some different mentalities that come out of that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's exciting to show you these two because you really get to see how they impact the game. You know, there's so much their numbers, but really it's the way it feels, the way when you see it. That's where the excitement, you know, comes out for me especially. Wormhole is going to be one of her talents as well, and I'm sure everyone can understand what this is. Wormhole's being removed as a card from the game and will now be a talent you have to go into, but it is essentially going to be Wormhole 4 that you get as that talent. So you will be able to blink a second time back to your original location within 4 seconds of blinking initially.
Yep.
So
yeah, it was kind of a standard card, right? But the thing here is that it was standard at about level 2. So most of the good Eevees would only run it to have 2 seconds to blink back. And this makes it easier. When you have 4 seconds, that is a long time. You can get 3 or 4 shots off on somebody. So you can kill big targets and then still blink out to safety.
Yeah.
You don't have to make that decision now. After that, when you're getting close to that 2-second mark, now you have to say, all right, can I kill this target right now?
It's usually blink, shoot, blink.
Or do I
you
have to get
come
back out?
because it's just too short. Now you have time to wait a little bit, bait it out, and actually it adds more counterplay into this playstyle too, because if you're getting jumped on, right, you can blink out, and then you have enough time to really kind of play the mind game of like, am I coming back?
Yeah.
Right? Because most people, because of the 2 seconds, you don't have time to think about it, so they just sit and wait where you're going to come back because they know either you're going to do it or you're just going to die. But now there's enough time to just like, you're getting shot up by my teammates. How long are you going to wait for me? You just 3 seconds go by, 4 seconds go by, and I'm back, right?
So that's going to be a fun one, and I think a lot of people will be familiar with that play style. Over the Moon. This is an interesting one. That actually was the name of a card. I'm not sure if that card got removed or...
Yeah. Anytime there's a card that
you
say, oh, there's a card that does that, it's basically, it gets removed, and we just make it an OP legendary.
Cool.
Yeah, we just make it strong.
We look at a card and be like, this would be really cool if we could just tune it way up, right?
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes the legendary cards.
So in the honor of tuning it way up, you're going to reduce the cooldown of Soar by 5 seconds. I don't know what the cooldown of Soar was.
It's 10 seconds.
It's 10 seconds.
And so, and I mentioned this earlier, but anytime a legendary will affect the cooldown or recharge of something, that becomes the new base. And so now any application of cooldown to that system is now off the base. And so this legendary takes Soar from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. And then you can take that with cooldown from 5 seconds to 2.5 seconds.
Really?
And so you're basically giving up the ability to blink back. You're giving up the survivability of Ice Block. But now every 2.5 seconds, you can Soar. You can get the Soar cards for duration, Soar cards for light speed. And so the interesting part about this, and you actually mentioned this when we were talking about earlier, Nick, the fact that, you know, when you're playing against Eevee now without the legendary system, you know they're probably going to be running Wormhole.
Yep.
You know they're going to be a certain play style, but if you're countering against Wormhole, you say, okay, they're going to counter Wormhole. I'm going full Soar build. And so now, what do you do against that? It's a completely different play style. She can Soar around and reposition. She can Ice Block, Blink. And now Blink becomes the secondary mobility to reposition after Soar. And it changes the whole play style and gives you options.
It's going to be really, really interesting. Again, you didn't want to see all these? Go to PTS. Go play it. All right, Fernando, coming up. We've got his adjustment to Fireball. That's no longer going to get bonus damage for hitting multiple targets with Fireball. But there's got to be some way for me to get that back. I'm sure there is. And that's in his legendary cards. But the first one, Formidable. He's going to be regenerating 40% of his maximum health over 3 seconds when he falls below 15% of his max HP. So
with an internal cooldown.
Okay, internal cooldown.
And so if you get really low and you trigger this, he will now start rapidly regenerating a third of his health and kind of pick that up there. So it's really, you know, you're giving up the Fireball, which is more of aggressive talent. There's a shield legendary in there as well. So you're kind of picking out that. But basically saying, you know, I want to be meaty. I want to be tanky without my shield. If I pick that up, if I trigger low, I'll heal back up.
This is a fat one, for sure.
And the fat one that we all really have had a lot of fun with, Scorch, that's the fireball.
That's mine.
You're going to be able to deal 30% more damage and 30% more for each additional target. Does that end up working out differently than it was before? Or?
Well, most of the time your fireball only hits one, maybe two people. For me, it's mostly just dry bear, right? I'm only hitting that one person in the back line. I'm hitting that Canessa.
I'm already dry enough as it is.
It takes away that potential for the 5-man fireball where a Fernando just wins the team fight with one ability, which kind of feels weird to have a tank do that.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
it will hit harder on just that first target. And I think that's the big one, that the one target that you're chasing down gets hit harder now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you lose the ability to have the stacking per target.
Yep.
But if you buy into the legendary version, you'll get at base a 30% increase in the damage. A fireball is always better, and then you gain that stacking back. And so
buddy.
it actually means the stacking to 5 gets better, but you're giving up the healing legendary, and you're giving up a shield legendary to be able to combo that. So you're saying, I just want to hit 5 people with a fireball and have it do over 1,000 damage at the end, or at base just do more.
So Flank Nando's still a thing?
Flank Nando's a thing.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
Absolutely.
Aegis is the one. I believe we may be able to take a look at this in-game. Aegis is the starter legendary you all will be receiving. Your shield has an infinite duration. I'm going to repeat. Your shield has an infinite duration, and the cooldown is reduced to 8 seconds.
So in-game, right now, right? So he has the fireball combo and that kind of thing. His shield at base will have a duration of 10 seconds. So if 10 seconds go by and your shield is still up, it will just end. And actually, a lot of good players, if they don't have a record, will just wait, right? They'll see you with the shield up, they'll wait. When the 10 seconds goes by, the shield will come down, it'll go on cooldown. Doesn't go on cooldown until you hit it. The base cooldown is actually 15 seconds as well. So by giving up the fireball damage and by giving up the healing that he gets on the base legendary, he now gets a shield that will literally last forever. If he doesn't want to put it down and it's not destroyed, it will be there forever. You see, we're still running around, the shield goes out. So you don't have to worry about the timer anymore. You're just going to hold out as long as you want. And the cooldown comes down to 8 seconds. So you have an 8-second cooldown. It won't start until the shield ends.
That's big.
But now you are Shield Fernando. Shield all the way. You gave things up, and now you're a powerful shield man.
That's the biggest thing here. So the cooldown, just that huge flat cooldown reduction is going to take Nando so viable. I think against Wrecker, because Wrecker is so strong right now, but this is going to make him, that big main tank frontline presence again, where he can hold down the front line by himself. On having such a strong shield on an infinite on an infinite duration like that, it forces you to buy Wrecker, right? Because in the old days, I would ignore him. If he puts a shield up, I'll wait it out. 10 seconds is almost it's a long time, but it's not infinite. And now you have to make a decision. You have to destroy it. You have to buy Wrecker, or you're gonna
have to destroy the shield,
or enjoy chewing through all that HP.
And the cool part too is I'm sure there's plenty of Fernando players out there that aren't pretty hair Flank Nando. They want to kind of chase people down and kill them. They're saying, please allow me to be more like everyone's buying Wrecker. I want to be more of a tank. I want to shield more. Give me the option to do that. And I'm sure that given the option, say, hey, we'll take away your fireball damage, we'll take away your fireball combo, but we'll give you shields. You're willing to make that trade?
Exactly.
And I bet you there's a lot of people out there be like, yeah, all I want to be is tanky. Let me be tanky. And this allows that to happen.
And a lot of people would say no. So these are really interesting choices. I even think War Doom is going to be even more troll with this, because he's going to go into the back line with 2 health and throw that shield up forever. And you're like, really? I didn't buy Wrecker. Am I going to burst through all this? I'm just going to leave you, man. It is going to be so funny. So Fernando making it a big comeback. A lot of people saying, where's, just throw Bomb King on him though. But hey, I don't know.
I mean, that's a grubby bomb, right? Bomb King's sitting there laughing, just like, hey, you have a present.
Choices.
That means
it's only got the 8-second cooldown, so it's coming back.
Right?
Yeah.
You got 8 seconds to kill him.
If you think that's going to be the casual, response, though, I mean, Bomb King's kind of a difficult champion. I don't know if everyone's just like, just play your, top tier Bomb King. Just pull that out.
Yeah, get your sticky bombs in there.
That's the only way I'm going to get any value out of Bomb King.
Exactly.
Throw it! Throw the grubby bombs!
Okay, this one's exciting. A lot of people are really excited about this one. And I know Nick as well. You've given people a lot of nightmares about this one.
Which one is this?
This is Grok. This is Grok coming out. So
Grok is...
I can't believe this happened.
He's so strong now.
Make Grok frag again, boys.
But bounce damage hasn't been increased from 75 to 125 to start. Okay, so the bounce damage of Shock Pulse has been increased from 75 to 125.
Extra 50, and it's 6 bounces, so 7 total hits. So that means that every hit now is 50 more damage. So it's 75 to 125 at base.
Okay, now his legendaries. Maelstrom. When your end hand deals damage, reduce the cooldown of Shock Pulse by 0.1 seconds, and Shock Pulse bounces 4 more times.
Ding,
So
ding, ding,
now-
ding, 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 ding,
and that's 0.1 second off the cooldown every time you shoot, every time you hit. And so it's back up now. Shoot. It's back up now. Shoot. It's back up now.
Make Grok
And
frag
so-
again, boys.
It's 10 bounces, more damage. And so if you ever wanted to surge with power,
Yeah,
this is your
buddy,
opportunity.
This is the way to do it. I just want you guys to know, this used to be 10 bounces. I got this nerfed 3 times over the course of development, boys. I fragged with this, dude. This is the legendary right here. This is the legendary.
Yeah, this is really, really.
good.
I mean, this is also it's a damage option for a support. Right, and it's in many ways saying I'm going to sometimes stray away from my tank and away from my team to do this and to try and finish off kills.
Who would play a support like that?
And in that way, you do give supports, you know, you do make a meaningful choices. I'm going to be more offensive here.
Nobody needs healed if everyone's dead, all right? That's my philosophy.
Now you see
don't
it.
need healing if I kill everyone
Now
for
you see it here. That's right.
Oh, this is why Pip exists.
So that's going to be really fun. You guys try it. I mean, even I did extremely well with that. You guys are going to have a lot of fun with that one. It's great. Build some decks for that. Totemic Ward is going to be his other totem.
This was interesting.
Legendary. Allies healed by Healing Totem receive CC immunity for 2 seconds, and Healing Totem heals for 20% more. This has got some interesting aspects to it.
Anyone that is standing inside of Healing Totem while it's up cannot be CC'd or debuffed.
So Makoa hooks me, but I'm standing in that totem.
Or debuffed.
So if Torvald says it's working, and then Grok walks up and says it's not working,
It's not working.
everyone standing inside that healing totem now will not be knocked back,
Oh.
can't be stunned, can't be slowed. Again, you're standing in this kind of condensed area, so you will be getting shot at. You're still getting healed, those kind of things. But if you protect the totem, so like this
Dread
has really
Serpent?
big implications, right? You throw a grumpy bomb on the ground, you see the grumpy bomb building up, you just stare at it in the face, and then right before it goes off, you just stick your totem down and stare at it in the face.
Man, he's got a lot of
Nothing
attitude.
you can do.
Grok has a lot of attitude.
The best part
right
too
now.
is that actually, certain ultimates that don't have immunity, like Torvald, I just used an example. If he starts going, it's working, the Grok can put the totem on him, and now you can't stop him from ulting anymore, right?
Yes.
Or if
If they're on
Shaolin
the
goes
same
down for a
team,
planted
correct,
and you're trying to CC him and kind of get him out of there, you can't anymore, right? Because he's CC immune. So Grok now has this really interesting way to make his healing totem heal for more.
Yeah.
Right, he's giving up the shock pulse damage, but he heals for more, and now he can be kind of controlling CC immunity utility support. That has a really big impact on the fight.
It's really, really powerful stuff, and a lot of, I think, support players who really want to maybe be more of those hardcore supports are going to find a lot of fun moments with that one, where they save the team from flying off the map.
That's right.
Maybe on Frog Isle here.
Not working.
It's not working. Wraith, this is a fun one.
Yes,
this is
this
actually a
one's
really
so
good one,
good.
too.
This one's so
if
good.
If you would have died, Ghost Walk instead. I feel like I'm reading a magic card. If you would have
You've
died,
activated my trap
Ghost
card.
Walk instead.
My trap card.
And heal for 15%.
Yes.
So,
This is big.
So walk me through this.
So if you see anyone,
if I kill you?
If you see Fernando ulting, we have this treatment on the health bar that has this kind of gray bar that locks out the certain amount of health you can't touch. Right, it means it can't go past it. So when you look at Grok with this legendary on, you'll see a gray bar at the end of his health bar, noting that it's up. It actually has a long internal cooldown on it. So once it triggers, it'll go on a long cooldown and won't come back for a while. But once it's up, you shoot him, and he just like goes down to 1 health and just goes, go, and starts walking around and ghost walk. You're like, I just killed you. And so he heals a little bit up, gets 50% of his max health there. But it's basically, it allows you to be more aggressive. Again, you don't have the better healing totem. You don't have the shock pulse damage, but it means that you kind of trigger that. It also doesn't trigger the ghost walk cooldown, so you can kind of ghost walk, trigger the ghost walk, wait a second, ghost walk again, right? So you're very survivable. You get in the fight, kind of be in there. So the debuff kind of Grok that does the slow and shock pulse, the slows on the ultimate can really get into there and exist in the fight.
And this works with your Ghost Walk cards. So you pick up the duration and the cooldown cards. I went in the training range with this. Right before you die, you pop Ghost Walk, right? You're in Ghost Walk for 3.5 seconds. You come out of Ghost Walk, you die. But you got this legendary, so you go back into Ghost Walk for another 3.5 seconds. When you come out of this, it resets the cooldown of Ghost Walk to just 1 quick second, and then you Ghost Walk a 3rd time. So you're in Ghost Walk for over 10 seconds.
Wow. Grok just can't handle the real world. He wants to hide away in the ghost realm.
I don't want to come back. But this, again, is with that internal cooldown. It's going to be like, well, I hope that good teams are going to be able to trigger this when
and there's the
people don't want it to be,
right?
It's like, I want this for the final point fight. Good teams are going to try and trigger it, right before.
That's the trade-off, right? You're not in control of where it triggers. The enemy is. So they can get you low and wait. and then take
There's
you down.
psychology to that, though.
They
where it's
have
like,
control when that triggers.
It's like, do we want to focus this Grok that's just going to ghost walk?
Right.
But then it's like, if you don't focus him, then you still got to deal with it later.
Yep.
So there's a lot of interesting psychology, I think, that goes into that legendary.
Yeah. So Grok getting some cool legendaries as well. I believe Totemic Ward will be the one they will be receiving. Right? That's the CC immunity one, right?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next G, and he's a support as well.
He's got some dirty ones.
He's got some really good ones.
He's got some fun ones.
Dirty.
We're excited to do this.
Dirty.
A couple of changes.
He's going to be
really
viable.
important?
I think he's going to be played in competitive
No,
now.
I don't think these are that important. Again, there are some rebalance changes, and they will be very important for you guys to check out at the patch notes when they get released on the forums. Make sure you do that later on. But here it is, legendary cards.
Dude. You gotta there is one card I definitely want to talk about. It's basically Incitement Grover, right? So hitting an enemy with your crippling throw will reduce the cooldown of Vine by up to 4 seconds.
Okay.
Incitement Grover, boys.
So you Vine,
it's so
crippling
fun.
throw, Vine.
It's so
crippling
fun.
throw, Vine.
And when we're creating these legendaries, some of them, they had to be reworked, or like in the case of Wormhole, which already felt like a legendary, we had to rework that going to be there. So something also, if there's a weird interaction that kind of goes with it that makes it broken, right? We end up kind of working with it. So some of the cards end up getting touched a little bit, but
that's why.
That's going to be fun. I can't wait to try that one out, actually. So legendary card, first one is Ferocity. Increase your damage scaling over distance by 30%.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's damage scaling, which means that even at mid-range or close range, your damage goes higher. And that's actually, this has been talked about. And again, hopefully you guys are kind of seeing a lot of community feedback pieces and discussion points and requests over the last few months of kind of season 0 of like, hey, I want to scale more with my Grover, right? So this gives you the opportunity to do that. And that means that also, as a Kinessa player, it hurts me to say this, but it means that the top end max range axe
Hurts a little harder.
Hurts more.
It's 1430.
So if you see Grover who just really wants to make that Kinessa pay,
it takes your range and it just bumps the whole thing up. It's basically the easiest visual representation.
Scales the whole thing.
That's a fun one. The other fun one I think we're all really excited to see take place is Deep Roots. Crippling throw, now also roots. Let's take a look at that in game.
It does. It roots.
I'm really free.
So now you have legendary boom. Now she is rooted.
Oh god.
And it's important that this is adding a root onto the cripple. And so if you catch an Eevee, if you catch a Maeve, everyone out there that thinks that Maeve is becoming an issue and she's all over the place, too much mobility, just play Deep Roots Grover, pick that legendary, play Deep Roots Grover, and when she dashes in, just hit her in the face with a crippling throw, and then she'll just sit there staring at you because she's crippled, she can't activate her movement abilities, and it's a really strong counter against high mobility teams. You give up the other options like axe damage, or there's a throughput healing legendary as well. But you're saying, you know what? They're all mobility. I'm going to counter it. I got this guy's in the tree.
Yeah, and I believe this will be the duration of this will be affected by resilience as well.
Correct.
So if you're able to pick up resilience, I mean, this is going to be a momentary pause for sure, but you'll be able to hop back into action a lot sooner than if you don't. Again, encouraging different itemization as well in some of these champions. A lot of people treat like resilience like it doesn't even matter, like still, and they're starting to. It really is about to matter. Yeah. And you're going to see a lot of these things are really OP if you don't have it, and if you do have it, really not that OP, but you got to make that choice if that's what's really hurting you. The other one, the last one, Rampant Blooming. Healing allies with blossoms will heal them for an additional 160 health per second for 4 seconds. So a lot of extra healing coming in if you want to choose that route.
The Blossom has the passive healing on it, and then you are able to activate Blossom to do a burst heal around you. It still does the same amount. And then picking this legendary means that you get the passive healing, you have the burst healing, and then when you hit someone with the burst healing, it applies an additional healing over time effect on top of them. So they get the burst, and then for the next 4 seconds, they get 160 every second, right? So they have, 640 extra health on top of the 1,000, on top of the passive healing. So you're saying, okay, I don't need the cripple, I don't need the root, and I don't need the scaling axe damage. I'm a healer, and now I'm strong. Yeah, and it really helps for those hoping Grover maybe could contribute a little bit more in that healing department. Yep. He's definitely going to be able to do so with that one. I know you're excited. Church of Grover, bow down.
That's right. Bless up, my friends.
All right.
Blessed.
Kinessa. Triber, you know what? I feel like I shouldn't say anything right now. Why don't you explain what's happening with Kinessa?
You got it, champ.
We tried many options with Kinessa, and I think at the core of it, right, we want to make sure that, one philosophy we set out to do in the very beginning of Paladins that we want to stick with it is if any time someone one-shots you and you're a squishy character, it should feel justified, right? And if you see kind of Kinessa's or Shaolin's, you'll see that they can't really just hit you in the chest and kill you, right? They have to headshot you. They have to be using their ultimate. They have to have some kind of benefit or buff. And so picking the legendaries for Kinessa, we wanted to make sure that we carried that through. So her legendaries are as such. Her first one, which is pretty straightforward, similar to Drogoz, she now just gets 50% more damage on headshots, which means it brings it from the default 50 to 100. And so if you want to shoot someone, you get them in the head, you do double damage on that headshot, which it's a sniper, man. If you got a revolver, a sniper rifle, that's what those are about. It's precision shooting, so you're able to do some damage here. On top of that, at the base, she did lose her passive, where if you hit a fully charged shot, you do 30% more, so that's gone. So that, she used to do 1,000 damage, you do a fully charged shot.
Try and run. Bye.
Ooh. God bless,
and a camera guy had to ult just for good measure, just get that hit in there. So at base, Kinessa does 1,000 damage in OB43. She has a combo that if she has a fully charged shot, it does 30% more, which means that she normally hits for 1,300. Kinessa players, you know this. We took that away, and so that means that her base damage went to 1,000. To compensate for that, we raised her base from 1,000 to 1,200. So a fully charged shot is actually doing less than it was in OB43, so it kind of brought that down. But obviously with legendaries, you're going to get bigger benefits. So off the 1,200, if you get a headshot, you would do 2,400 at fully charged, which means that you can kill squishy characters. You can kill those high mobility flank damage characters. You got to hit them in the head. And then if anyone knows, hitting a Maeve or an Eevee in the head, that's not easy, right? No. That's really hard. The second one that she has kind of brings back what her combo was before. If you hit a fully charged shot, it will cause your next fully charged shot within 5 seconds to do 30% more damage. So at base, it still does 1,200. So if you hit someone with a fully charged shot, it does 1,200.
Yeah.
With this legendary, if within 5 seconds you hit another fully charged shot without missing or firing a shot that wasn't fully charged, it'll do 30% more, so you actually get the extra around 1,500 damage on that. Still, again, it's a body shot, not enough to kill a Skye or an Eevee outright. That's kind of our big thing. We never want to let you get one shot in the chest. It has to be a difficult shot or some kind of stipulation or condition to be a one shot. But again, you'll do kind of about 1,500 damage consistently, and that stays on as long as you're consistently hitting fully charged shots without missing or not fully charging it.
5 seconds is a long time.
It's a long.
That's a good buff.
Yeah, she's gonna be. She's gonna be hurting hard. If she hits her shots, it's gonna really reward very good.
If you're being consistent
players.
and not missing, you'll go from 1,300 to 1,500 from OB43.
And it's gonna punish teams that really don't know how to flank a Kinessa. It's gonna punish teams who don't build correctly, who don't draft correctly. You really do need. Flankers exist for a reason, and I would almost say the archetypal reason they exist is to get to a Kinessa.
Kill Kinessa.
And kill Kinessa. And you've got to be able to do that for your team. And you will have games if you don't have a flanker and you leave Kinessa alone, that it's going to be really fun for the Kinessa and not very fun for you. I've been there. Done that, trust me. And this other one, Driver, I think this is going to be OP. This is going to be you try this. This is going to be the most.
We messed around with all of this one. So
it's a lot of fun.
The headshot one is kind of base damage, right? The charge shot one is more of like a skillful sniper experience where you have to your first shot gets nothing, but if you're being consistent, you get more. And then obviously a rest of our kit, we decided, do we want to go transporter? Do we want to go oppressor mine? Do we want to get a different option there? I think one of the cool ideas that we had was to give you an option to play a Kinessa that's a little more involved, right? We want to just, you're a sniper, yes, you're there to kill, but maybe you want to bring her closer to the fire, maybe you want to play her in a different way. So this would be an Oppressor Mind legendary.
Ooh.
So what this one does, which is crazy, at base, with this legendary, it will increase the amount of slow that each Oppressor Mind has by 20%.
Oh, wow.
So it goes from 30%, in OB43
That's
to
explosive
50%.
flask.
That's 50% with just a mine in Season 1. However,
that's explosive flask.
Oppressor Mines now stack on the same target.
Oh, dear God.
And so if you have...
I didn't know about this.
2 Oppressor Mines...
What's 50
and they're
plus
beaming
50?
on that, it'll stack.
Now,
it's important that we have
diminishing returns,
diminishing returns on slows, right? So the first one, actually, diminishing returns pick up
the old dry bear
40%.
doublet. I was worried.
Just so you guys know, at 40%, diminishing returns pick up, and they pick up more aggressively towards 100. So you actually would need like 8,000% slow to reach 100 because it's diminishing returns means that the more you get, the less value it provides. So eventually it'll start to go down. So actually, at 50%, it's only actually providing 46% because it already hits the diminishing returns. When you add the extra 50, it goes to like 60% and then like 62. Like it gets really diminished.
Yeah.
But the interesting part about this is you can get Octopressor, you can get well-stocked, which well-stocked allows you to have up to 6 mines possible. Octopressor allows you to stack up to hitting, each mine hits 5 people. So you can actually walk up to the point, fill it with oppressor mines, and you walk in, they just go bing, and they start grabbing everybody. All the slows are stacking on people. Now, remember, they still have 100 health, and so if anyone like shoots at the wall and destroys it, or your teammates work together, it can burn it, and they're pretty easy to kill.
Yeah.
But it means that now Knessa just gave up headshot damage, stacking damage. She nerfed herself, basically, but now she can fill the point with utility. She can cover flank route. She can fill the air with mines, and she becomes this utility sniper build, which is very different.
And she's still got to stay alive. And the thing is, like, you were doing this build the other day, and this guy was raging because he spent like 3 minutes setting up his little like castle of mines.
How'd it go?
And he'd say, damn it,
and then
somebody killed me. And then all the mines were gone. And so he's like, oh, my work.
My cabbages. My cabbages.
It was so funny. So, I mean, there's risk and reward. And if you do spend a lot of time throwing mines out and sniping as a sniper, you probably aren't going to, be as effective as you would want to be.
But the cool part is, you can put them up on a wall, and then when Drogoz flies by and doesn't realize they're there, you can stack a bunch on him, and so he goes, and he just gets caught, and he just feels like now he has to make the choice, right? Either I shoot that Knessa shooting me, or I have to shoot the mines, but I can't move until I shoot those mines.
Yeah.
There's the card. I think the big thing here is for the range of the beam can get obnoxiously long, and then the people on the point have to make that conscious decision. And Torvald, Makoa, Fernando, they're not going to be able to reach a lot of these mines, right? So they're just going to be getting slowed. So those guys can't do anything about it. They're slowed. People that can reach it now have to make the conscious decision that I'm going to take DPS off of the fight and go try and hunt these mines down. Meanwhile, they're getting flanked shot at. So there is crazy troll value.
There's a challenge there.
When you do get it set up, it's got some
but with that legendary, you actually do less damage with your sniper rifle
only
than you do in
right?
OB43, right? So you lost damage to do this, and so now it's choices, right? You have different choices to make, and the cool part is we have all these oppressor mine loadout cards that maybe you pick one or pick one rank, and now all of a sudden you're like, huh. Well, maybe I should build a whole build around this that changes everything about Knessa.
And when you look, I mean, I just see the ability for that to combine with teams and everything. If you have like a high pressure, maybe a flank that's up in your face, flank nade, and Knessa's in the back line, but she just throws. You're running away, and she just throws a mine, and all of a sudden you're getting some distance away from Fernando, and he just comes charging right back. I mean, it's going to definitely disrupt a lot of things. So that's what Knessa's getting. The legendary that it will come with, I believe, is the charge. Correct? Is that the charge? Or which one?
It'll come with the charge.
The charge. Okay.
I believe.
The charge one. That is steady aim. Moving on to everybody's favorite feline champion, that is Maeve. She will be getting her legendaries as well. First off, though, reduced her movement speed. For those saying maybe Maeve's a little too fast in the battlefield, the movement speed was reduced from 400 to 385.
Pretty big chunk there.
And she's also got her pounce dash increased, so you will not be able to dash as efficiently. The cooldown increase, exactly, from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, so I have to wait a little bit longer to pounce.
Yeah, the big thing about her is the base movement speed was high. Given the fact that she has the ability to move elsewhere, the base one didn't need it as high. It just means that now you have to rely on prowl and intelligent pouncing to be able to keep that mobility. Her base now, when she's walking around normally, will be lower.
Cool.
And then we increase the cooldown from pounce from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, largely because if you're using 9 live intelligently, if you're using your resets intelligently, the cooldown won't affect you as a good Maeve player. It just means by default you will be less mobile, which was a big feedback point from the community.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a great change. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that, bringing her maybe just a little bit more into balance with where the rest of the champions are. Scamper, movement speed when activating pounce. Okay, interesting. And let's just get into the cards here. Again, you can read some of the changes to that. Legendaries. Artful Dodger. Activating 9 lives. Cleanses all crowd control and damage over time effects.
Yep. You accidentally walk into a Grumpy Bomb? Hit your Q. You didn't.
Wow.
It's like it never happened.
The big thing here, I think, is one of the only backliners that Maeve actually struggled with is Shaolin, getting impaled into a wall. So this is a legendary you would want to look at maybe if there is a good Shaolin in your game. This is how you gotta get
impaled,
planted.
pop Q, and you're out.
Exactly. That's what you
I
want
think you're already going to do that in the fight anyway, right? It's already getting your health back. You want to reset your dash, so really synergistic in fighting some of those high CC elements. Again, another one that I think we're all going to be excited about. Cat Burglar.
What does that do?
She can now jump a 3rd time.
All the time.
3 jumps.
Triple jump.
Let's see what that looks
if
like.
You thought
triple jump.
Drogoz was a thing. 1, 2, 3.
Triple jump me.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Wow. Yay.
And again, her base movement and kind of mobility was nerfed, right? So bring that down. She will be giving up her other 2 legendaries, which are pretty impactful. The next one actually, surprisingly enough, given the impact of this one, this was actually one of the, the least picked in playtests. The next one was actually really powerful, very impactful, and you're giving that one up in order to just jump a bunch.
She just got across Fishing Village in 1 rotation without touching the ground, basically.
She's a cat.
Who needs Master Riding at this point?
She's a cat.
No kidding.
Master Flying, dude. She's
Yeah.
got Master Flying.
She's a bird. Yeah, she's a bird.
New flying mounts coming in 2018. Rogue's Gambit. That's going to be the one that a lot of us were really excited about.
This one's crazy fun.
Eliminations reset the cooldown of pounce.
Oh.
And these are assists. Assists or kills. And so if ever you get an assist, your pounce will reset.
No, it's really fun.
It's crazy.
It's crazy good and it's really fun.
Yeah.
This is big justification for my personal loadout's going to change a lot. The nerf to the pounce, I don't think makes it a big deal because you can still go all in on someone. It doesn't matter what the cooldown is. If it was a 1-minute cooldown on pounce, as long as you're getting that elimination, you get it reset and you can get out.
Yep. And if you're getting excited right now or you're getting curious right now, please play PTS tonight. We'll have it out later tonight, hopefully. It'll go through the weekend. You'll be able to play it Monday and Tuesday before this go live. Doing this much work for Season 1, we've spent months and months and months. And actually, the first image you guys saw when the stream started of all those really interesting card frames and kind of pendants and icons. I don't know if they still have it over there in production, but all that was done by our kind of 2D art and UI and UX and programming team. There's a lot of stuff going in, so we're really kind of leaning on you guys to hop in PTS, give us feedback, tell us what's working, tell us what's fun, tell us what isn't working, and we'll adjust that before this goes live for OB44. So please hop on PTS and give us the thoughts.
Yeah, and again, remember, this is all new. This isn't old. This isn't new Maeve against old, Pip and old Drogoz, right? This is new Maeve against new Drogoz and new Pip, which we've yet to get to. So it will be a new meta, so we really need people.
So I mean, you got the triple jump or you got the dash reset, and you're thinking, you're feeling cool, and then Grover's just like,
rooted.
And he just looks at you,
jumps now,
and then Drogoz
baby.
walks up and direct shots you, and you're dead.
It's different. It's different.
Everyone went up.
It's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
It really is. So you guys have fun with it. Don't just play it. Trust me. Makoa. Makoa.
This guy's a monster.
Young Yertle.
He's a monster.
Dredge Anchor. No longer grants bonus damage to your next shot after hitting an enemy.
Yep. Combo gun.
All right. I wonder if there's a way to bring it back. Let's see. Legendary cards. Leviathan. Big boy Makoa. He's been eating healthy. He's going to get 1,500 health if he picks up.
Base health. Just flat.
This.
He has 1,500 more max health.
Boom.
Now, he no longer hooks and does bonus damage.
Right.
So he's not the kind of flanking single target burst machine, but now he's just a beef castle.
He's a beefcake.
So
beef castle.
That's a trade-off, right?
Have you ever come across a beef castle? Where
I live in one.
You live in one.
Yeah,
okay.
It's actually a lot of upkeep because sometimes it gets moldy and I got to replace all the beef and all that.
You have too many. You have 2 dogs.
I'm actually the biggest importer of beef in the entire U.S.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's a choice.
He didn't choose the beef life. The beef life chose.
Season 1 is all about choices. That's my choice. Okay.
That's Drybear's legendary.
And it's all seasoned, by the way. Delicately seasoned.
Season 1
beef.
Yeah, it's actually seasoned 1.
It's seasoned 1. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I live a weird life.
Pluck. Gain 80% bonus damage on your first shot after hitting an enemy with Dredge Anchor.
Which is more than OB43.
So it used to be 60%.
Buff on the
correct?
damage? Yes.
20% more damage.
But you're not a beef castle.
But you're not a beef castle.
Yep.
And you're not playing Season 1. You're playing Season 1 at that point.
Yep.
Half Shell.
This one's interesting.
Nick, I want to leave this to talk to you because you were experimenting with this today. You think this actually could be one of the stronger ones.
I did.
Shell Shield is now placed on the ground and is not channeled.
So no squiggly turtle.
Right. So I mean, pop and Q.
What does that mean?
It'll put the dome out, and then you can walk around freely, use all your abilities as well, and all of your cards that affect Shell Shield will still affect this one. And playing more and more with it, I thought the health was going to be good. I thought the combo was going to be good, but this one I actually think might be one of the better ones. When I really stopped to think about it, because you can just kind of bounce back and forth between your shield. There are cards that like heal while Shell Shield's out. There are cards that reduce the cooldown. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do to just get more effective health in a fight.
It means you kind of sit in there.
It's
you
harder
can play
to
mind
use,
games,
right?
You can hook people into the shield and damage them. When you hook them into the shield and damage them, you don't have the bonus damage anymore.
You can drop it on your back
play the game,
line, and then shell spit onto the point. Drop it, make your team safe, and then you can take off.
Yep.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Gives you a lot of freedom.
Let's move on to Moldamba. We don't want to keep this this talking too much. We want to show you all these things, and again, you'll see them all in PTS if you play, hopefully later tonight. Dread Serpent, a lot of people didn't know this. It caused 20% bonus damage when you actually use Dread Serpent. Everybody in your team, anyone affected by Dread Serpent, would take 20% additional damage. Part of the reasons why it was so valuable and hard to kind of balance as well. So they've actually taken that off. That will be gone, and that will be going into the form of a legendary option. His first one, Wakono's Wrath, will do just that. Enemies now, if you take this, will take 20% damage in Dread Serpent.
And that's damage amp, which, you know, folks who play kind of other kind of competitive games, 20% damage amp is a lot, which means that if I hit you with 20% damage amp, all 5 of my team now each do 20% more damage to you. This was already on the base ultimate, and actually, when it comes off, everyone will feel it. Right? It was a big part of what made it very, very strong. And we like, you know, Moldamba fitting into that kind of team-wide, team ultimate kind of utility support category, and this allows him to go into it. It's one of the few legendaries that affects an ultimate, but we thought it was so impactful and so meaningful. One, we wanted to make it more obvious and clear because a lot of people didn't know this happened. So by putting it on a legendary, it's like, oh yeah, he's going the ultimate talent or the ultimate legendary. And then the other 2 options are less around that.
Spirits Chosen, his second legendary, will be healing a target already affected by Mending Spirits. Mending Spirits healing over time heals will actually heal for another flat 300. So if someone's healed 4 Mending Spirits and you heal them during that time, they will get a flat 300 added on top of that.
It's hard to see in there, but there's a 300 popping up inside of that. And so basically, as long as you're continuously healing the same target that has Mending Spirits on it, every time you hit him, you get a burst of 300. So this turns him into kind of the quintessential pocket healer, right? He is there to keep a tank alive. He's there to be effective on the point. His ultimate no longer has damage amp on it, which will be a pretty noticeable difference. But now he is, I'm focusing on healing people and keeping them alive.
Yeah, just a straight healer option. I love that as well. Grover's got one. Grok's got the ability to do that. His last one, Ripened Gore. This is a fun one, and I think if you like to play Moldamba, maybe be a little more offensive, maybe a little bit more CC, but in a damaging way rather than helping your team, this is fun. Gourd now slows enemies in the area for 40%.
Persistent.
During its duration. That's a very...
as long as it's out and you're walking through it, you're slowed.
That's awesome.
No resilience.
Yeah, no resilience. That's going to hurt. With resilience, won't hurt as much, but you still don't want to stand in Gourd either way.
Or Grok just walks by and puts a totem down.
That's true.
Walk on through, my shepherds.
It's not working. That's got to be the new meme, man.
But you can already see some of the interactions, right? If you say, oh, they're running Gourd Moldamba, Grok, please get the Healing Totem Legendary, right? And you can actually kind of play with that, right? If you're like, oh, my whole team's on the point, he throws the Gourd down that's slowing, Grok puts the Healing Totem down. Now you have free movement, you can get the Wind Rush, right? Get that piece in there. And there's actually some interactions where you're now playing another game of customization with each character.
Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. Moving on to Pip. He is everybody's favorite Volpine, my favorite, certainly, in Paladin. Explosive Flask, speaking of, no longer grants bonus damage after hitting an enemy with Explosive Flask first shot. Remember, if you use Explosive Flask, anybody who was touched with that, once they took damage from Pip, he would do about 120,
30% more damage for 3 seconds
to them. And so it was not very... that's being removed, and now it's going to be transitioning into a legendary card. That card is called Catalyst. And it means that targets hit with Explosive Flask are now marked for 3 seconds and take not 30, but 40% more damage for your weapon shots.
So you can go damage flank Pip
if you want.
Yeah. Mark him with Explosive Flask.
Everything as usual.
Down.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone will do that.
I don't know. Not with these next legendaries.
Yeah, these next ones are pretty fun. Mega Potion. Healing Potion heals for twice as much, but has double the cooldown.
No, so that's a typo.
Sorry, that's a typo. Sorry about that.
Healing Potion now heals for twice as much on everyone except Pip.
On everyone except Pip. There it is.
So if you're healing a teammate, it will do double the amount. If you heal yourself, it'll do the normal amount. And so this is just, again, to encourage Pip to play that healing role. You can get reload. You can get some. And actually, we didn't mention this. This is one of my favorite changes about this patch.
What?
This one has been a long time. I play Pip. I like healing.
Oh, yeah.
We added a change to this that makes this so much easier. It's night and day different. You now can press Q again while Healing Potion is in the air to detonate it. So if you want to heal a Drogoz, if you want to heal a May, if you want to heal an EV as they're going by, throw it up, press Q, pop it. You can actually, and the difficulty of using Healing Potion before was you had to hit the ground or bank it on a wall, trying to make sure you hit it. And sometimes you would miss just because it wasn't there. Now all you have to do is throw it over their head and press Q.
It's
guaranteed heal. And then when you run Mega Potion, you heal them for double the amount on other people, which means you can also get Gift Giver. You can heal yourself for that amount. It becomes, I mean, I played him last night. Crazy support, full support. I didn't even run around. I was in the back just like throwing out potions like Oprah, just like,
You
hey,
get a
everyone
heal,
gets a
you
potion.
get a heal.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a permanent Torvald shield, right? I mean, that, you know, I was flanking his Buck, and I was fighting a 1v1, and all of a sudden, I'm at, you know, basically 1,000 health. I'm running low. It's me or Cassie. Last shot. Who's going to do
you
it?
were fighting me.
And I'm back to 3,000. I mean, it's
And I
like,
lost.
wow. Wow, that's just such a tide turner. And, you know, he loses the bonus damage, and he loses a little bit of this cool mobility coming up next. Acrobatics, you can now double jump during waitlist, and I believe it lasts a little longer.
Yep, we added one more second to waitlist with this. Means that you get one extra jump. It's enough to kind of push that duration out. You can still get sprint. You can still get these other loadout cards that adjust waitlist, which is kind of the fun part of the legendaries is that legendary system exists on its own, and then loadouts can bolster it. And now you can get some really interesting interactions. So if you want to go full waitlist pip, you can. But now, yes, during waitlist, you get one more jump out of it, and you can double jump when you're in there. So you can go boing. And then you can boing again, just like Maeve.
Gotta
We
keep
felt
up.
Maeve was taking your thunder away. Pip's coming back.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. That is one that we haven't actually seen run a lot in the playtest, but it's been very fun and definitely really cool to check out.
And
the
extra 1
training room.
second works well with Refreshing Jog.
Absolutely.
Right? Which you heal every second while you're in waitlist.
Some extra healing on top of that,
Some
just some
synergies.
sustain. Really cool stuff for Pip coming through. This is an exciting one for me. Ruckus, the man who just needs no buffs ever and goes from 0 tier to top tier. Repulsor Field. Damage reduction reduced from 50 to 30%. Wow, that was a great sound effect. I literally thought that was happening behind the stage. Can now be used when not standing on the objective. Hail. Feedback.
Hallelujah. So if you ever played Ruckus the first time and you went to the spawn room and then your Q just had this red obnoxious circle on, you're like,
Yeah.
what gives? I can't
Yeah.
do it. Repulsor Field in 43 required you to be on the objective. And that was our way to say, hey, you're a tank, you know, get up there,
Yeah.
kind of do your tank job, and kind of present. But there was a big benefit because it was 50% damage reduction in an area. We also reworked it before. When you pop Repulsor Field, it applies the effect to everyone on it with a duration so they can walk away.
Yeah.
In this patch, we reworked it so it's an aura now. And so if you pop it when no one's around and you walk onto the point and everyone's on the point, they now get that benefit. But it also means that if an Eevee like went by, you popped it and flew away, she wasn't like 1v1ing someone with damage reduction on her, right? You have to stand near him on the point. But this goes into the legendaries you picked up. He does get a Repulsor Field legendary, but now it is an aura. So as long as you're standing near Ruckus while it's up, you get damage reduction. It's just a little bit less now, but you can use it all the time.
That's going to be really, really interesting to see. And Recycler is his first legendary to start getting into those. He's going to gain 100 ammo.
How much?
100. If you think that is a small number, it is
Spray boys.
not. That guy does not stop firing.
That means he has 300 max ammo.
Just
shredding.
He is
just
really.
lighting lead.
It's a lot of fun.
It's simple but very effective.
And there's no problem with it, but the only reason why you wouldn't pick that one is because the other two are really good as well. Flux Generator. When used on the objective, Repulsor Field is twice as powerful. So now it goes from 30%
Double down.
to 60%. Double it. 30%
double it.
Double down.
to 60%. And then that's Aura. That's not something that Eevee's going to fly into and fly out and engage the fight. So you got to be near him and taking it. But again, on the point, it could be that much more effective. So you really want to grab, you know, your team, your solo tank Ruckus. You need a little bit more support. Boom, you pick that one up.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's real. I'm playing Kinessa. I play Kinessa. It's one of my favorite characters. Playing this on the point, we had kind of one of our VFX artists. He's kind of gets on the payload at the very end of the push and goes Repulsor Field. And I was like, 400. Wait, what? 450.
450. Nice charging, right?
Yeah.
And the last one, Nick, this is probably going to be the one I think I see you picking up in the realm.
This is Randy Orton from the top rope.
I teased it earlier.
Aerial Assault. Advance gains a third charge. Standing still causes Ruckus to jet upwards. Let's take a look.
buddy.
In game.
So if you have 3 charges set up 2 with advance, so you kind of pop through and you can dash forward if you want. You'll see him kind of hop around. There it is. But
No.
if you are standing still, if you're standing still when you pop advance, instead of going in the direction, you will go up. And you can do that several times and get the 3 charges there. So again, you're giving up the ammo, you're giving up the survivability with the Repulsor Field, but you choose then to be able to reposition. Because that's one of the challenges Ruckus has always had, right?
Yeah.
He's always had the problem where I'm sitting on the point, everyone's picking on me, I want to go and move, but I can't. And so this gives you the option to get a little bit more mobility. Or if there's just like, you know, there's just like a Victor up on top of Serpent Beach just shooting down, he's just like, I'm coming. And he just goes straight up and catches him.
My biggest thing with playing Ruckus too is just like some areas I just can't get up to. I can't affect those people, you know, and it's not an issue anymore. It is a non-issue, and this is there's so many, I think, too, hype moments that can be created from this. I don't even know some of the interactions that'll happen, but we will see some highlight reels from this. I guarantee it. Players keep working this
too
one.
far.
We might have gone too far here. Ruckus gonna be like back flowing and all that. It's gonna be crazy. But that's gonna be all of Ruckus's legendaries. I believe you will start out with
the repulsor field one.
I think it's the ammo one.
Is the ammo one?
I think it is.
That's going to be fun. You guys are going to be excited about that.
And
Trust me.
when you say that, remember, everyone gets a free legendary for every character, right? So you can log in and do that. We'll also do kind of a shift some of the starter decks, and we'll give some essence boosts when you start out. And actually, we are planning when the patch launches. Don't tell anyone, I'm not supposed to say this. But we'll do a really big boosted event where you get extra awards for the weekend after the patch launches. So get ready to save up your money. Your gold, again, will be used for Radiant Chests, which gives you essence, which gives you legendaries. So get ready, save up your gold. It's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting for all of us here to see how it develops. Shaolin, dude.
Shot it.
He's going to get some legendary cards as well. He thought we'd leave him out. No, recurve. Shaolin's going to draw his bow 15% faster.
It's basically an attack speed increase.
It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
So those of you kind of, the draw speed's actually relatively long. It's a little bit longer than most bows, but it hits really hard. It's 1,000 damage per shot. So 50% takes effectively about a second and a half, or it's a 0.15 off the draw, which means you're literally just attacking faster. You're in that slowed state, less time. You're able to reposition more often. So it just means he's just a better archer.
Better archer. That's it.
This one's huge.
His number 2. This is going to be really fun. Shifting Sands. You know what? I'm going to do that one last. Okay. We can do this one now. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just so good. I was almost going to save it last. Shifting Sands gain 100% lifesteal during Heat Haze.
So he's at 50 health. Pop Heat Haze. Boom, half health. Boom, half my health.
Blessed.
And Heat Haze lasts a while. And so, obviously most characters will get a legendary that's on all the time, right? And so this only affecting the ultimate, we had to beef it up because it really it's only when when the ultimate's active. So it's a very limited period of time. But the cool part about this, one thing we're hoping for, is that this becomes like the hype MLG top play 1v5 clutch ace moment, right? Because you get 100% lifesteal. You can still pick life rip on top of this, and he hits for 1,000. So really, if you're not missing and you pop Heat Haze, which is a decent duration, you can become a god for a short period of time. But then the rest of the time, without your ultimate, you have no legendary, right? You have no benefit. You gave that up because in that moment you wanted to be awesome.
You fire slower, right? I mean, you don't have the 15% draw speed. Like, you're not going to be winning a fight against a normal Shaolin most of the time unless you have your ultimate.
But during your ultimate,
going for that payoff.
Yep.
And so it could be a big payoff, but it's, again, a significant choice. You got to wager, am I even going to get to that point where my ultimate matters, or will we have lost the game before that? Right. His next one, last one, Desert Shadow, increased the stealth duration of withdrawal by 3 seconds. Nick, you have kind of experimented with that a little bit, but that's going to make it up to 5 seconds, I believe.
5 seconds. Very long.
It's a long time to be stealth.
So right now, you sometimes will see players use their withdrawal just to kind of get out of doorways and then go set up for a shot, but it's hard to do that, right? The stealth duration is very short, and this kind of makes that much more possible, and it's on that, basic ability cooldown, so this is something you can leverage every fight.
The base duration of withdrawal is really designed so that you can exactly, when you're next to a wall and you're doing a sniper battle with a Kness or something, you can pop back and just barely get around. That's 2 second duration of stealth, just enough for a couple steps and you reposition. With this legendary, you're saying, okay, I don't want more damage, I want to be able to sneak, and so when you pop it, you can actually get 5 seconds of stealth to really get somewhere new. Well, and you can draw on it too, and so it really loves you, gets that first strike opportunity to jump on someone and get some extra damage. You draw slower, but you want to get that stealth.
Yeah, really fun interactions there. Okay, Shaolin, that was him. It's time for Sky. Time is ticking as well. We're getting close to the end, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging with us. We appreciate it. Only got a few more, page and a half left. A few more champions. And if your main's coming up, be excited because they got good things happening. So one note I do want to mention, Smokescreen got a bit of an adjustment. It increased the radius from 15 to 25 feet.
Yeah, so there was a card that increased the radius of Smokescreen up to 60%, I believe. We just looked at it. A lot of people weren't picking it. It just wasn't super valuable. And also, it was kind of strange to like choose to buy into a bigger Smokescreen. We weren't changing the effects on it. So we actually just reworked that card, so it's no longer available in the game anymore. But now, by default, we add an extra 10-foot radius onto the Smokescreen. So it's big enough. Actually, before, it wasn't even enough to cover the point. Now it will. It's slightly bigger than the capture point, so you actually fill the capture capture point with smoke. Some people don't know this, but when you're inside the smoke screen, you can't see anyone out of it. And when you're out of it, you can't see anyone in it. And you actually can't see across it either. It actually is very, very powerful and very potent. And with the extra size, now allows Skye to get that. She still will enter stealth when she walks through it, and the other smoke screen cards will be there.
I don't know if I don't know how big of a smoke screen expert you are, but you can still hit people even though you can't see them, but you can't tell that you're hitting them.
Correct. It's just like glass. It's just like grass.
So you don't see the
numbers. It's deployable grass anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you
have
can't
no feedback
tell that
that's
you're
happening.
hitting them.
Yep.
But you can hit people. You just have no idea whether you are or not.
Yep.
I was doing that today. I was like, can you actually hit people out of this?
Same thing
or
as the
am I
grass.
just like, am I missing? What's the?
Can't tell.
Okay.
It's all
exciting.
secret.
Now, poison bolts, for those who are also wondering, will be the bonus damage applied after that will be removed at base. So you will no longer do bonus weapon damage when hitting enemies with poison bolts. So that is something that's going to be reworked into a legendary card, and that will actually be called. We'll get to that in a second. Preparation's her first one, though. This is Victory Rush, basically. It's coming back in the form of a legendary. Reduce all cooldowns by 100% when getting a kill or an elimination.
So if you get an assist or kill, all your abilities reset. That's her legendary.
That's
There's
huge.
that. Right there. There's that. If all abilities are down, boom, they're all back up. You can hit immediately. You can smoke screen immediately. You can poison bolt immediately. Oh, double kill. And so this is the pentakill legendary, right? Boom! Look at that.
Catch me if you can.
And so every single time you get a kill or elimination, it resets. And so this, for the longest time, we've been hearing everyone in the community talking about it. Man, we really want buffs for Skye.
Yeah.
We really want Skye to be. And actually, when Maeve came out, a lot of people were comparing the efficacy of both. So with the legendaries, we really saw it as an opportunity to bring Skye back in, right?
Yeah.
Make her follow into that, right? And there's options like give her more mobility, but we felt that she should be the one, if she doesn't have the mobility, let her be scary.
Yeah.
Let her be terrifying, right? And this allows you to do that, so that if you get in and get that kill, boom, all of a sudden you're back into it. You're just cycling these kills. If you get life steal, if you get life rip, you're a scary assassin.
And she has to do the deed. She has to actually kill her target to get the benefit.
That's right.
And that's not always. It's a lot easier said than done.
It's all in.
Shaolin.
Nice
shot, dude.
Sorry.
Solid.
Debilitate. Deal 20% more damage to targets hit by poison bolts.
So that was there by base.
Okay.
It was before. So if you guys didn't know, when a target was affected by poison bolts, they got 20% damage amp on them from you. This just becomes a legendary now. So actually, if you kind of pop it on a big target that has a lot of health, you can hit that damage amp on them and then just start shredding through them.
And then the next one, surprise attack. Deal 300 bonus damage on your first shot out of hidden. Maybe just more front loaded. A little bit for that one.
It's a flat amount, 11%. So
The thing
switch
here,
targets.
the big thing here is that 300 doesn't have fall off. So you can get that guaranteed. The 20%, it's going to be affected by your fall off. The 300 is guaranteed just tacked onto the shot, no matter how far away you are.
Pick them off.
Yeah, interesting to know.
And
Okay.
actually, it only comes out of hidden stealth.
Yeah,
So if you
not the
smoke
smoke
screen
screen.
stealth or have emergency exit trigger stealth, it has to be hidden stealth. So if you exit hidden stealth, you'll be able to hit it. And actually, this is important to know. This is kind of a preference for me because I do play Skye. It's your first shot of your left click that you shoot out of hidden, which means that you can come out of hidden, right click first, and then left click, and that first shot will still count. You don't have to wait. Because personally, for me, I like when they're not aware I'm around.
Exactly.
I like to hit all my poison bolts first and then left click. That will work. So if you come out of hidden, it still works there. It won't be other stealths, but it still has that.
And now, almost if you take that, there's maybe not as much onus, unless. I don't know. If you really want to guarantee that, you could left click, right click if you want, because you're not getting a damage amp from the poison bolts anymore. You're just hitting the poison bolts.
Whatever
and doing
order
your
you
damage.
want.
Yeah. So interesting there. Going to change some things up for Skye. Excited to see that in the realm. Next, though, we got our big dog, Grandpa of the realm. It's Torvald. He's getting a couple things here.
These are all
legendary.
This is actually one of the hardest ones to choose from.
Yeah. These are all really good.
They're all
very good.
Really good stuff.
Yep.
Field study. Allies affected by protection gain 40% damage while it is active.
It's a 2-second duration.
Okay.
It's a very short shield, right? So we kind of had to increase the damage up so that you can kind of hit that there. But again, I think, in normal matches, you may kind of have to watch a Kinessa when she ults or try to get Drogoz with salvo, but I'm actually really excited to see this in the esports side of things, the competitive scene, because then the players that are talking to each other, they're on voice comms, they be like, I'm about to pop this Ruckus ultimate, hit me with it, right?
Yeah.
Bubble them up. That means they're defensive and doing more damage, but he's giving up some pretty cool options.
Yeah, he's very easily countered as just a champion from, I don't know, Shaolin and people like that who can just burn through the shields earlier. So he's bringing a little bit of something here as well, maybe. Just helping
and it
his
is for the
teammates
shield
out.
duration. It's a good point you mentioned.
Yeah.
If the shield gets destroyed, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's only as long as the shield is active. So if you have Wrecker and you see the shield go up and you one-shot it as like a Drogoz or Kinessa, that damage buff goes with it.
Yeah. So that's very, very important. The shield's going to be, you can't just wait them out sometimes. Right. At that point, you really, it's like, kill that shield,
That's
right?
that's the big thing. Because, I mean, 2 seconds isn't that long, but with 40% damage jam, 2 seconds feels like an eternity. So now you can't really wait them out anymore. You got to pop them.
Yep. Yeah. And Drox's headshot talent with the 40% damage app. Sounds fun. Alternating current increases recharge duration by 1.5 seconds. That's a long time.
This is a double-edged sword.
See that in game.
Because it means that you get more shield out of it, regenerate more for yourself, but it also means that because it lasts longer, you can siphon more from any shield, right? So you have the extra duration to be more defensive and more offensive simultaneously. So it's just all around a very good ultimate. Or very good, sorry. I was looking at Hyper Beam. A very good legendary for Torvald.
I think the thing I like about this the most is that it'll save you. You don't like right now. You have to cycle recharge without siphoning a shield. You have to cycle it 3 times to get yourself all the way charged back up. And this is really going to help you out in that department. When you're playing by yourself and you're just kind of like the independent woman running around, just relying on nobody else, you can get that charged up for you quicker. You can get it charged up quicker for yourself.
It's good. And it's going to be good. That's going to be actually a really good point of that as well. Not everyone's playing in teams. Not everyone's playing competitive. There's a lot of solo queuers out there.
Yep.
Like me.
This last one scares me.
Direct current. Increase the duration of Runic Blast by 1 second, which means it goes from 1.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds that you are silenced and disarmed.
Which means you can't shoot. And you can't use abilities.
You can't do anything.
You
but
just
stand there.
run around and enjoy the awesome environment landscape that the team has built.
You're a non-morphed chicken, basically.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, it doesn't seem like a lot, like 1.5 to 2.5, but it's forever. It is forever.
Yeah.
You're literally, you're just locked out. And again, he doesn't get the shield recharge. He doesn't get the ability to kind of give
40% damage.
But if he really wants to screw someone over, he can. And that's a really interesting pick rate.
And also, I think the interesting thing is that if you buy Resilience, this will go down by 90%. The duration will be, I mean, what, 0.25 seconds?
Nothing.
Very, very, very small.
Yep, you're right.
I mean, come on. Let's go.
Resilience is big.
Buy Resilience, guys. Let's
Buy
go. Don't complain. Buy Resilience. Here we go. Tyra. Coming up, legendary cards.
Oh, boy.
Tyra's not a girl we've seen a lot in the competitive scene,
We're about to.
but I think we are about to here. Tyra's first legendary is called First Blood. Gain 20% lifesteal in base.
This again, this is one of those kind of on paper doesn't feel really big, but again, you run. That's basically getting at the start of the game for the rest of the game. You have Life Rip 2.
Forever.
Just have it.
Yeah.
And then you can buy Life Rip 3, which means you have Life Rip 5.
And 5.
So you can buy to Life Rip 5, right? And you think about it, that means that Tyra, who is constant, heavy, shred DPS, can get up to 50% lifesteal with just an item.
Yeah.
In a legendary, right?
That's huge.
And I've run this myself, right? If they're not running Cauterize, you pop your ultimate, you can just walk into a fight.
Yeah.
And just be like, just healing yourself constantly. It makes up for the lack of mobility because you have so much self-stain. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really, really good. That's a fun one. Another really
Half
good
the
one
damage.
I think you've experienced on both the offensive and the defensive end, kind of happening to you, Mercy Kill.
Yeah.
Nade Launcher deals, this is a really fun, Nade Launcher deals up to 100% additional damage based on the target's missing health.
It's an execution sentence, basically. The lower they are, the harder the grenade launcher is going to hit. So you can see 1,100 damage there and take you, most characters, most of the squishier backliners from about half to nothing. James hit this with me in a playtest for 1,200 damage on my Eevee, and I was raging.
You just don't expect that burst.
As
You
I'm
normally got that
soaring, dude, he
600
took me out of
damage,
the
right?
air.
So 600 damage is pretty useful. It's like the Victor grenade, right? And like a poke damage. Sometimes you finish them when they're really low. But with this legendary, you're basically saying the lower they are, the closer this nade does to double damage, right? Up to 1,200. And so it's really useful for, like, again, you're shredding, you're trading. And again, just buying into the fact that Tyra's low mobility, high damage, all these legendaries buy into that. And so basically, if you're going into a Duke match and you guys are both getting low, that nade launcher's getting scarier and scarier, and she's just going to go and just end it.
Yeah, exactly. You're realistically, the lower you get, you're realistically going like that
getting
in
worse.
comparison to her, right? Because you just got that finisher.
bursty.
It's a finisher.
Yep.
It's execution.
Yep.
Mercy Kill. That's why they call it. This is the one I think we'll see a lot in competitive. And I think this could provide some serious things. I think our Hunter's Mark is already really strong.
Yep.
I think a lot of people don't use it a lot. I mean, there's with Sky maybe becoming a little bit more viable. We might see that even step up even more.
Yep.
This is big. For those targets you want to burst down, Hunter's Mark damage increase now also benefits your entire team. 15% extra damage to the person who's Hunter marked for all of your teammates.
So when you see that arrow over someone and she's running this legendary, shoot it. because. And it's a very reproducible. It's unlike the Maldumba Ultimate, which is 20%, occasionally. This is literally, I can pick one person, I reveal them, I know where they are, my teammates know where they are, and if you see them, you will personally do 15% more damage. If you think about like the direct shot Drogoz, the headshot of Drogoz, that 50% will be added onto that. And so you are now basically saying, kill that person.
Yeah.
All
That
right,
one,
guys.
right there. That's the one I want.
Go ahead.
Here's the Mythbuster. All right. Pick a Tyra, a Maldumba, a Torvald, and a Kinessa. Mark somebody with this, ult them with Maldumba, give the Torvald bubble to the Kinessa with the headshot damage, have her ult, and see if she can one-shot a Fernando. I'm curious.
Now, this is important to know.
I'm curious.
For those of you who don't know, the way our damage amp or damage increase works in Paladins, it's all 100% additive. It's not multiplicative. And so the difference there is that if it was multiplicative, let's say you had 1,000 damage, you had 10% to that, it'd be 1,100, right? And you did 10% on that. Multiplicative would mean it would take 10% of the 1,100 and keep multiplicatively adding up.
Got it.
In Paladins, it's all additive,
Still
which
the
means when
base.
it calculates a percent damage increase, it's always off the base no matter what. So if you do 1,000 damage, and you add a 10%, and then you add a 40%, and you add a 10%, you're going to get 60% of 1,000, right? So it won't run out of control and go crazy. It's just you're literally adding a very standardized block of amount of damage off the base, and so it's very kind of easy to see, and it won't go crazy.
Wow. That is very...
But it's still going to be a lot of damage.
But it's still going to be a lot of damage, especially if you pull that
In those
one
dream
off.
scenarios.
That's right.
That's like, the alley. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters come out here and just throwing it off the backboard. All right, your turn, your turn.
Yep.
All right, that would be really cool. Somebody make a YouTube video about that, and I will share the heck out of that. All right. Victor.
We're almost there.
We're almost there,
Two
guys.
more, everybody.
Two more.
Two more.
Assault rifle. Updated description indicate deals 40 bonus damage per shot on his first 4 shots instead of 50. Okay, important. Now let's get into the legendary cards. First one is called Gunnery. Gain 20% bonus damage while using iron sights. Let's take a look at that in game.
And this is all the time. So if you're electing for Iron Sights Victor, you will always have 20% more damage if you are doing it during Iron Sights.
And, he is headshotting quite a bit here and using this first 4 rounds, which gives extra bonus damage. But it still turns out to be quite a bit.
And then one more ultimate just for good measure. So again, it's kind of playing into that, anyone who feels that, Victor is not as usable, competitive, or ranked, you feel like you can't pick him up because he doesn't have that. This is kind of your safe, long-range poke option to be more about sitting back, using iron sights, being precise, and picking those things. But again, as soon as you let go of iron sights, someone gets close and you're hip firing, you lose that damage bonus.
Well, not if you take Firefight.
Oh my God.
Which is his other legendary. And it is giving him 40%.
Choices.
Not 20.
Hey,
let's double that. And
The
turn
old
to
dry bear,
40%
double down.
bonus damage.
Double down, baby, double down.
While hip firing only.
Yeah, and so the key part is, obviously, hip firing is very difficult to do at range. And so you have to hustle into the fight, get close to someone, and start hip firing. And so you get double the amount, right? So the 20% during iron sights with the legendary, you're basically saying, I'm going to go life rip, I'm going to go with a hustle, run and gun, I'm going to get a lot of mobility. I'm going to try and get into the fight and try and pick someone off. I'm exposed, I'll probably take a lot of damage in the process, but I'm going to do 40% more damage if I'm hip firing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty self-explanatory. This one's fun. This is the Benny Hill music coming out. And, you heal for 250 health per second during hustle if you pick up his legendary talent, legendary card, Cardio. So basically, he just heals 250 health a second while he's running.
Yep. Run, Forrest Gump, run.
This is the survival legendary.
Yeah.
We're just running around the ring.
Now, again, you gave up 40% damage or 20% damage. You're just like, I suck more, right? But I can heal a lot. And so when you're running for poke builds, reset builds, hustle builds, you're just like, okay, I need someone to survive, or I'm going to go and do some damage and run back to my side and kind of flank a little bit more, kind of blend in that role. You have the ability to sustain yourself and keep yourself going. There are also loadout cards that give you ammo while you're running and those kind of things. It really plays an interesting play style.
I'm actually like, if you're kind of just running, like glancing over this talent's actually really good. I mean, his legendary card's really good.
Yep.
And it's really fun. And sometimes, you get that Victor so low and you start then like pursuing, like just to finish it off, right? And then 3 seconds go by, he's 750 more health, and he's turning around fighting you. And it is a big, big difference, especially just trying to finish him off. So a really cool sustain option for these legendaries. Victor, definitely going to be having some fun with him. Check those out in the patch when it releases tonight on PTS, hopefully. Last one, but not least, it's our girl, Ying. Illusory Mirror, before we get into legendaries, no longer deals bonus damage when hitting all 5 shots on the same target. Yep. Shatter no longer increases the damage of subsequent shatters.
So both her combos are gone.
So
right?
no,
so
no,
at
no
base,
combos.
she's vanilla Ying.
Okay.
Doesn't get bonus damage on the 5th hit. After she does 5 hits on one target. And then if she shatters and then shoots that target, no bonus damage.
Okay, no bonus damage.
Gone.
Okay. But her legendary cards will add a little bit of that back. Focusing Lens in particular will allow you to deal 200 extra damage if you hit all 5 shots on the same target, and I believe that's more than what was
It's
before.
more than the baseline. So again, if we took it away, we give you a little bump. So you say, I really like hitting 5 shots on Ying. You actually were flanking me last night as Ying because no one was killing the Knesset, right? You're like, I'm gonna dimensional link over there.
Yeah.
And you actually were boxing me with the amount of damage you were dealing. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a lot. Have you played that one?
I have not.
It's really
good.
fun. And for me, I don't really lean towards Ying in my playstyle, so this is something that I think I'll play a lot more Ying, and I think legendary cards will probably get a lot of people playing champions.
That's the beauty of it.
They wouldn't play before because it's like, oh, that seems fun.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I can already picture the combinations in my head.
Yeah. Resonance. If an illusion is killed or despawned when a new illusion is spawned, it triggers a shatter explosion, dealing 500 damage.
This
Here
one's,
we have this
this
in
one's
game.
bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. And so the idea is that if an illusion gets killed or despawns, you spawn another illusion, it will instantly shatter. So there it is.
Wow.
Whoa.
So it ends. Right, you can actually run the build where it doesn't double shatter, right? If you shatter it, it's not a shatter. But you can run the build where it rewinds, where if you dimensional link, it'll spawn an illusion in a spot that you were before.
Yeah.
So you spot a bunch of illusions. When people are
So
killing
even
the
if they
illusions,
just
you can do damage.
expire, they blow up.
Yeah, they expire, they blow up. If you
Oh,
make them
snap.
expire, they blow up. Or if an enemy kills
Or
them,
when
they
they
blow up.
kill them, yeah.
Yeah, so you lost the base combo damage, which was there. You lost the weapon damage, and you're giving up the next throughput healing legendary that's after this one. But you're basically saying, I'm going to be this tricky illusionist, kind of treatment tree dashing around. And if anyone decides they're going to kill my illusion, it's going to blow up anyway. So this is actually a crazy play style with lots of loadout combinations. This is probably one of my most favorite for her.
Absolutely. So anytime illusion leaves the battlefield in any way,
It will
shatters.
It's going to be really good with Shaolin as well. You can call it Shaoling.
Shaoling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
How long are you working on that one?
You think of that always?
I thought of it. I thought of it. I was over here. I was just thinking, no, we're paying attention. Ling coming to the realm with those new things. Check that out. All right. Ling has one more, though. Lifelike. This is pretty good.
It's crazy.
Illusions heal for not 10, not 15, not 20, not 25, 30% more.
Actually, I think
sorry.
No, we
Can I have that back?
moved that one,
Thanks.
actually. I believe that one is a
That's
little bit
gone.
different.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's a little bit different.
It is.
So
I know what that does now, yes.
Ying Illusions now, they're a little overachieving. They feel like they weren't
This
doing
is even
enough.
better, maybe.
When a Ying Illusion shoots to heal somebody, it will heal 2 people.
So not one.
It won't heal Ying.
Drybear took it, and he doubled it.
He doubled it. He doubled down.
So,
So if you have
so
basically...
Ying and Ling, actually.
Yeah, so basically what happens is it will never heal Ying, right? And so if the illusion is healing one of Ying's allies and Ying's the only other person nearby, it'll only heal one person. So it has to, similar to the Mega Potion for Pip, it's really for helping others and kind of being more that support role. So if you put an illusion on the point and there's 2 allies that are low, it'll
both
shoot
getting it.
2 beams out and heal them both for each tick. And again, you lost a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You don't get the combo damage, you don't get the shatter damage. So you're basically, I'm going full healer, I'm kind of committing to this, but it's actually a pretty big throughput increase, and it relies more on keeping those illusions alive.
So realistically, you could say that this is, instead of a 30% healing increase, this is a 100% healing increase.
Situationally,
This
yeah.
is essentially a double.
Situationally, a double down.
Potentially, right? Okay.
It could be a double down.
But again, you do deal up a lot of damage. I think the Shatter one's going to be
That
really
Shatter
good.
one is very cool.
It's so much fun.
'Cause, I
'Cause
mean,
you run Rewind, where every time you dimensional link, you spawn an illusion behind you. And so you're just creating illusions, detonating illusions, moving around. It's crazy fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are your legendaries.
That's it.
How do you feel about this? We want to know what you have to think. Of course, BTS is coming out as well. A lot of people may be
Hopefully
wondering, how do you get these cards? How do you go about achieving legendaries? Although you don't have to worry about that yet. They're all unlocked during PTS.
Yep.
But in game, maybe we can
Yeah, that's a
tell
good
them how to
point.
do that.
During PTS tonight and through the weekend, we're going to leave all legendaries unlocked. So when you log into PTS, you can try anyone you want, mess around, have fun, give us feedback, let us know what's working, what's not working. Again, kind of quick overcap. Rating chests you can buy for gold now. They drop a new currency called Essence. This Essence will be used to purchase or unlock loadout cards and legendary cards. And also, every character, if you log in for the first day, every champion will come with 1 free legendary. So right off the bat, you'll have one. You can equip it. You're not going to be worse than anyone else, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to opt into different options, right? You have to buy the other 2 kind of with the Essence, and then the loadout cards are still the same way.
Yeah.
So you pick a legendary card when you launch a match, then you pick your loadout. that. Then you buy your items, you get in and you start customizing that way. So pretty cool there. So please play PTS tonight. It's actually a good time since it was a little bit longer. I'd like to, if we could, bring back up the Dread Hunter Drogoz skin for anyone who kind of tuned in late. So we have a new Drogoz skin. We went through all this gameplay stuff, but look at that monster. That's available in OB44, direct purchase. So you just buy it for crystals, get that piece in there. Really awesome, really cool. It'll be in the Colossal chest as well for a little bit less if you want to kind of gamble for it, but a pretty big pickup.
Yeah, I'm running low on crystals, so I think that's how I'll pick it up as well. What do you think? How are you going to grab it, Nick?
Well, there's a crystal event
Wait,
going on this weekend.
What? Nick! I always knew you had pretty hair, but...
Nick has been replaced by the superior.
Oh, the prettier hair.
The prettier hair.
This is hi-rez prettier hair.
Called out, bro.
Oh, wow.
Called out.
Hi-rez
hey,
prettier hair.
you can't really... I mean, she got nice hair, man.
How it is, Nick.
He's wrecked. Sorry. So, Alyssa, what are you doing here? You bringing us some community stuff?
Yes, I've got a bunch of community questions. Really exciting. So let's jump right into it.
Let's jump.
Yes, let's jump. Let's jump right into
Okay, wait. I think I might have some too.
I think it's
Okay, they're coming.
right?
Patch preview OB44?
Yeah. 44.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying. That's a question. Is that,
right.
is that the community question? I'm Ron Burgundy.
All right, first
Put a
question.
question
When will we see profile customization?
So it's something that we're really excited to work on. It's kind of something that we're looking at, kind of overhauling that, looking at the social systems too. So we have some updates coming that's not going to be in the near term, but it's something that we really want to work on.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, will the maps ever have features such as traps, moving platforms, or breakable objects?
So we have grass, obviously, in some of the maps. We have portals, so those kind of mechanics we really do want to kind of keep in there. Likely we will kind of bring in things like moving platforms, or kind of elevators and stuff like that.
Guillotines.
The environment team, and then stuff like that. Yeah. Some lings kind of sitting around healing people. And then breakable objects. We actually do want to add in more things that have like sound, like bells. You can shoot it, kind of want to enhance in that. So environment team, the level design team are kind of, they have a wish list of things they want to add. They were going to keep moving. Jump pads.
Ooh, nice.
Boosted magical elevators. All good stuff.
That'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, down the line.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
All right, let me start off by saying that you guys have some really talented animators. They'll be really happy to hear that. My question is, are you guys planning on creating animations that will expand on the lore? One of them was the Maeve animation where she had Ying's mirror. People were like, how did she get that?
First off, how did you read that?
Yeah, I know. Well, you can
soft.
see it ain't the easiest thing for her because she's like...
There's a point where Torvald would like adjust his glass. We do have really talented animators. I think that's one of the biggest things. We have a team size about 70 or 80, but we have probably some of the best artists, riggers, animators, VFX artists, character modelers, weapon modelers, right? In a game like this where you do have kind of your first-person experience where you're holding your gun, the third-person experience where you have the character and all those kind of pieces, and also the fact that, the core challenge is trying to solve mixing the modern, like an assault rifle or sniper rifle, with the fantasy, with the fantasy environments. Huge challenge. We have some of the best artists in the world kind of bring us together. And I think, even the Torvald emote where he's kind of picking his fingers, that made it the top, front page of Reddit. That goes out to our animators, having not only kind of the whimsical sense about them, having kind of fun with it and kind of making jokes with it, but also being very excellent and talented in working fast, but working with high quality. So I think from that standpoint, we're going to continue doing that. We'll have to go back and talk to the animators about, be like, hey, what's coming up? They always surprise me with what they have, but they all continue to be awesome for time to come.
Definitely.
I hear we have something coming up in terms of a promotional weekend.
Yes, starting today through Sunday, we have the Crystal Storm weekend on top of PTS and patch notes going out tonight.
Who approved that?
I don't know, but
did you do this?
Fire
Alyssa?
him.
Yes.
Did you do?
Yeah, I did. So.
You did this. You knew I couldn't take it back. Once you announce it, I can't take it back.
I got you guys.
Alyssa, oh man, you guys are lucky. She likes you guys.
She got you guys.
So it's 30 crystals per first one of the day each day. So you can get up to 90 crystals each day. That's 270 over the whole weekend. So it's a really good chance to get the Genie chest, which is going away with 44. So really good chance. Valentine's chest. Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff. So 270 crystals you can get this weekend.
This has been one of the patch shows that I think will go down in record books. We've talked about all these different changes, and whether it's Season 1 or Seasoned 1, we hope you will have an incredible time checking this out with us. PTS is live tonight, basically, and we want you all to be a part of it. It's more important than ever that you all jump on, give us your feedback, and we really for a few days, play PTS together. We want to make sure Season 1 comes out as best as it can be. There's a lot of work that's gone into it from the animators, the visual effects artists, the designers, and all of the other teams at Paladins to make this a great experience. And we look forward to you all enjoying it. As always, my name is Rene. hi-rez Alyssa, hi-rez Pretty Hair has joined us, and of course, hi-rez Dry Bear. That's going to be it for us today on OB44. And as always, we're going to never give up, never stop gaming, and we'll see you all in the
Beef
realm.
Castle.
It's what?